yesterday's lows would be SoFi at the $19 level. So as much exuberance and strength as we're seeing in the market, you are not seeing it in the financials right now, and it's not spread evenly among even the retail names. Like you saw some relative weakness in Walmart compared to some of the others, but yeah, banking stocks not doing too well. We're going to enjoy some...
Yeah, we're out of here. Pot pie. Beef pot pie.
Yeah, I'm air quoting that one.
You don't think it's going to be beef?
Well, our chili wasn't really chili. It was ground beef with beans.
Yeah.
It's not chili if there's no chili flavor. If you don't have any chili flavoring in it, there's nothing spicy about it whatsoever. Thank you, Danny Boy, Regular Pants. Oh, that's right, you changed your name. Okay, so it was Yummy Pants was yesterday, was the name before, but then you've changed your name to Danny Boy Regular Pants. Aliens are going to see the bleached white flag on the moon and think we're weak for surrendering to cheese. We're gonna need some Trump-class space battleships. Yeah, we need the space.
Yeah, I mean, we literally built that space, what was he, Department of Space? Or Space something? Space Force.
That's what it's called.
Steve Carell, that's a great one there on Netflix. Go have a look.
That's
I mean, it's
hilarious.
nothing
Steve
like
Carell.
The Office, of course. But all right, we'll see you guys soon. There you go, Sharif. We gave you another minute and a half over here. This guy's a spreadsheet.
You owe us, Sharif.
No, I think we still owe them probably more than 20 minutes, probably in the history. Take it easy over there, Joey. Options. This guy, Joey, you got lots of options, okay, over there. So yeah, he's ready to go. And congratulations. We already said that to Joe. Congratulations for some good trading here this morning. Can't wait for you to review it. All right, man. It's not O Canada. It is O Tariff time. As there goes the cues. We'll talk to you guys on the midday show. Ciao for now.
Peace.
Joey Ops just pumped, bro. I like that. Man, one day that monitor is just gonna go.
It's gonna catch it.
And Brendo's gonna point to the door. He's gonna be like, leave.
Later.
Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That's your boy, Joey frickin' Options, and I'm Sharif. And I wanna say hello to everybody joining us in the chat. Shout out to FFOE6R11. Salutations right back at you, baby. We got Omen. We got Green Saber. Hinzi's in the house. Boosted Red Spot. I don't know what that is. Peng. Wyatt. My man Wyatt. We got the OG Bovin. Jody. Used items. Hey, hello, Joe. Frank Trades. We got Durant Gordon. We got Christmas. We got NTU. Yeah, okay, that's it. Cullen, Pratt, Joe, Jose, PH, Brown. Shout out to Christ, God, Son, 1. D, Westermeyer, my man D. Shout out to Papacito and Nuhaya, Outlaw Trader, Pizza Gang, Mario, Delzo, Arcane Swain, Adam, James, Abroad, bye. Shout out to my man Zen Zombie. Oh. Who else? Shadow Rap. We got Sahil. We got Sky, our Papa. We got JRCV0702. Sunny Shiba. One more, Joey. Big E. 87. You know what, Big E? I like you.
Oh, I get it.
I like
Big
you
E.
right away. Right, yeah? That as well. But if Big Spile was here, he would challenge you openly for using the big moniker. He doesn't allow anybody else to use the big moniker when he's around, but he hasn't been around.
Big Spile's a big dude, too,
He's a big
man.
dude, bro.
Yeah, he's a
great
big
guy,
dude.
though.
He's a great guy. I mean, that size, small, little, big.
They're all great.
Yeah, you could all be.
Good morning, Joey.
Yeah, good morning. All right, guys. Yeah, let's get right into things here. No Los Pollos this morning, guys. A little volatility stepping into the market, obviously, with the Supreme Court ruling there. Not in Mr. Donald Trump's favor. Very interesting stuff. But let's kick things off here with NVDL. Los Pollos was trading NVDA this morning, and he's been probably a little bit better than I have. But nonetheless, we'll take a little bit of a scalp on this one. Comes back. Never really engaged, and to be honest with you, I didn't have too much size on that one anyways. So NVDL working for us as it's continuing to climb higher, 86.60 all the way up to 88.80s. So we had that one rocking and rolling, but not partaking in the trend. But what we are currently sitting in right now is SLV. I don't have very much left either, guys. We'll take a look at silver and see what we got going on as it's slowly starting to pull back. We'll take this trend for sure. Look like we're going to curl over and break up, so we get involved in this one. Slowly start piecing it out. I mean, we got in at 49. We take some out at around 50 cents or so, a little bit less, and then we continuously piece it out. If it comes back to our break even, we get out, no problem. But then we are fortunate enough to partake in the TQs long this morning. But this was pre the volatility. Like, this was before all that volatility stepped in. I seen the momentum. We had that weaker GDP print coming in here, and I'm like, okay, very interesting. You know what I say typically is that when we have a market where we're trading below the volume-weighted average price in the pre-market, I like to find somewhat of a rebound. I see him in there. I'm not going to read it just yet. I'm going to finish this, and then I'll go over there, and then I'll go over that.
Yes,
but other than that, I was like, ooh, okay, momentum. There's strength within these price action prints. Let's get involved. And then I left for a little bit, and I had a stop order, a trailing stop around 48.62. And then sure enough, I come back, and I wanted to reload right here, but I was away at the desk, and then I was fortunate enough to have a 10% remaining right here for that volatility spike to the top side. But the market is continuing to climb a little bit higher. All right, Sharif, here it is. There can only be one big one. Shout out to LJS and the gang. Shorts, season coming soon. Timu Pipple. Brother, you already know it's almost short season. Couple more months and we're going to be rocking those for sure on those runs, man.
Bro, I was just wearing some... either my legs are getting bigger or I'm getting shorter or something like that, bro. Because those shorts look a little too small.
What do you got on?
I can bring them over. They're in the locker.
Get them when you have a chance.
I'm gonna bring them.
What are they?
I didn't measure them, but they're feeling awfully short.
Where are they up to? Like, are they more than half of your thigh?
They're okay. So they're up to about right here. I would say,
yeah,
like about right there. So
go,
my knees right here for
yeah. So about 60% of the thigh. I'm all about that life, my friend. We rock those all day, especially at the beach. Try to get them. Okay. You know what I mean? Like about 70% of the thigh up there. Yeah, okay. So you know what I see. You see what we got going on. Other than that, man, that's what we got. Sorry, Sharif. I'll go over my list
do your
here.
Thing, bro. Do your thing.
It's these names that we have right here. TQs. Open door, that hasn't been performing very well, but now we have silver starting to climb a little bit higher. I wouldn't mind a reload on this one, and VDA slowly starting to pull back in. So a reload on silver, especially if we're going to trend today. We want to add a little bit more. We'll go 3 for 3 on today.
Oh, jeez. Let's short Sharif, no pun intended. All right, let's get right down to work, Assassino. Let's show them what's going on over here. Shout out to KC526. Casey, by the way, loving the new profile pic. Get it. All right, here's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at NCI. This is a KC526 special. I didn't actually have eyes on this, and I just literally sat down, and this was not on my radar. It was light on volume, but as you can see, bottom right of your screen there, the volume is picking up and to the right, so we have an ascending volume profile. This looks real good. Here are my levels. Number one, it's got to 734 on the day, so it's still struggling with 7. As you can see, it's below 7 right now. The breakout level for me is around 6 1/3 to 6 3/4. No, I want to say 6 1/2 to 6 1/3, 2/3, excuse me. The reason I say that is for one reason and one reason specifically. Look at those 3 candles set up here that we couldn't shake, and then we finally shook it on the 4th. So that's the initial area of resistance, formerly resistance, now support that I'd be looking to pick this up at. So 6 1/2 to 6 2/3. If you really want to get aggressive with it, you're looking at that $0.75. I see the supers. I promise I'm going to get to them in a second. Just let me finish what I've got over here. If that doesn't hold, there it goes into another high of day, 744. This one, it's not even showing you. It's intentions of dropping back down into that level. So we're going to have to see how this one trades, but I'm not punching in at highs, just not my move. I'll be looking for a pullback and then a hold to that level. So NCI in focus. RXT also in focus, up 46 and change. This one's a lot cheaper, a lot tighter of a spread, and more stair-steppy. You know what I'm saying? Pop up, consolidate for a few candles, pop up, consolidate, pop up, consolidate. Now, where it looks like we may have reached the top. Looks like 175 may be a general area of support here. However, I am not buoyed by the fact that we have an unbroken lower high setup. So RXT definitely in focus for me over here. RNG as well. This looked like a dang buy program if I've ever seen one. 930 pop, and they were buying before 930, mind you, but the market on open order really came aggressively there. And it's, looks like it's topping out here in and around 40 2/3. It's going to have to set up a little bit better. FNKO. Another really good one, kind of light on volume. I want to say it's done 3 2/3 million shares on the day. It's respecting the 10 EMA on the 5, but it's also suffering from that same affliction of lower highs. A decided trend break there probably gets me into the trade. So basically 570 is where the 10 EMA is, and 550 is skosh below is where VWAP is. So that is in focus as well. TNDM up about 34%. Declining volume profile, while we have ascending price action profile. So TNDM diverging a little bit there. That sometimes is a bit of a warning sign. 2508 high, trading below it now. I like the higher lows. I like the respect for the 10 EMA, and you got plenty of it along the way. $24 is VWAP, and 10 EMA on the 5 is a little bit above 24.5. SATL, not my favorite, but more stair-steppy as well. Pop up, consolidate, pop up, consolidate, pop up, consolidate for longer. Let's see if that 3, I want to say between 380 to 385 holds. That could be an interesting area as well. And then the OG Bovin as well as Neil, we're mentioning BIYA. Bovin, this is one of those anomalous situations where the price action developed so quickly that the volume weighted average price is well ahead of the 10 EMA on the 5, not something we typically see. I'm willing to make exceptions for those situations where the price action develops so quickly, VWAP ends up being above the 10. I'll take it long, even if it is below VWAP, because of that, quick price action development. But right now, it's also losing the 10, so right now it's not tradable for me. Last but not least, do we have any more to cover here? Or did I cover all of them? I covered all of them. AXTI, sorry, the last one here. AXTI. It looks like it's got a flat top at 30. Lots of selling at 30. No closing prints, mind you, above that $30 level. So my move here would try to be to pick it up off the volume weighted average price, which is around 28.50, 28.60, for a possible higher low into that flat top break at 30. Now, you may or may not get it, right? And I realize that we've been above 30. 30.80 is the high of the day, but look, no closing prints above 30 on the 5-minute chart. So that is definitely something that is getting my attention. So those are the 8 that I'm looking at. BIYA might lose its spot on the side chart momentarily here. It is basically reverting the entire move. It was up 60-some odd %. Now it's losing it in a hurry. So now let me go to the supers. Thank you, Zen Zombie, for the 2. RXT, he says. We already covered RXT. It's this one right here. Unbroken lower highs, Assassino. We're waiting for the lower highs to break, and then we'll take that bad boy up north. And then I got my man there, Neil Zingle, my man, $50 super chat.
Oh,
He's
whoa.
dropping the money aggressively, Joey, on a Friday. And he says as follows: Joe, Sharif, can you please explain the options gamma exposure and the price wall at 190 for NVIDIA? I understand what the price wall is, but that gamma, all that's your life right there.
Yeah. Let's hop right into it, man. I was prepared for this. A lot of people coming in here and asking me that exact same question. We're talking 190s. There's a lot we got going on. And what we mean by the gamma exposure is just, you got to take into consideration. So when we talk about gamma, it's essentially your delta's rate of change. So for every 1 point move, you're going to see a $50 change within that contract. But after that, you're going to see an increase of that contract of $21, okay? So what we have here is that when you have such a substantial amount of size at a specific zone, you can have an increase in gamma. So the 126,000 current open contracts, you have to take into consideration and how quick that rate of change can accelerate. And we always talk about the gamma being at its greatest at the money, which we're currently trading at right now. So you have to take 126,000 contracts with all this exposure to gamma at its greatest, okay? So if things really start to accelerate, what happens is that you have the accelerant within your delta, but then the increase in your delta is at a rapid pace, especially with all this exposure. So when we see the open interest in the gamma, that's essentially what we're referring to, is high positive gamma exposure, okay? So this is what I was preparing for you guys here. I have a couple other things that we're gonna talk about, so hopefully that helped you and it gave you somewhat of an explanation on and help it make a little bit more sense if you didn't understand what we got going on. So there's a lot of exposure, lots of open interest, and then a lot of gamma exposure is what we're referring to, just due to the sheer size of contracts still currently currently open. Now, I want to pull over one more thing here. We're gonna take a look at it's 1-0 Finland, by the way.
Are you kidding?
No.
Sorry, brother.
Hey, man. It is no.
Oh, snap. You want me to take over for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There goes NCI, guys. We're in at 69. We just wet the beak at 707. It's struggling with sevens, though, okay? Topping tail candle through 7. That displeases me greatly. Let's see if we can kind of continue. The next profit taker for me, 7.25. Joey, go ahead.
All right, guys. So this is what I wanted to pull up here on Amazon. I was talking about this contract at $210, right, this morning. And I just had this hunch. Did I take it personally? No. So it's like, okay, I get it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, let me
go ahead.
Okay, here we go. NCI is rejecting 7 again, right down into the 690s, high 680s. Let's wet the beak here. I still have some size on, that's the thing. So I'd like to see how this, now I have to set up a contingency plan. We've got 2 lower highs in a row. Ever since that 1105 candle made the high of the day, the 1110 candle lower high, the current 1115 candle lower high. I have to be alive to that. Now, if it changes its tune, it'll change its tune by printing something above 720. 720 is prior bar high, okay? So that's my look right now. Let's go ahead and wet the beak here. We're still holding shares. So let's see now. Do I want to add more at the $0.50? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. So let's go down here. We're going to look to pick up more at the $0.50. I'm going to wait at 55s just to front run the 50 penny area. Now here's my look, guys. The 10 EMA and VWAP are almost identical in price. So 10 EMA 645, VWAP 637, something like that. Okay. So I like that as a good area of support. Moreover, we've talked many times about how the $0.50 and the whole dollar end up being psychological areas of support and resistance. You add to that VWAP and the 10 EMA hanging around there. I like my chances. I'm going to take a shot. So that's what we're looking at there. We're looking now for a 7.25 move, and or we're looking at getting more at around the $0.50. So we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it tight here on NCI, Joey.
All right, good stuff. So, guys, this is essentially what I was getting at here this morning. So we were talking about this specific Amazon call contract being $17. Well, now if we go and look from the intraday standpoint, this is the contract's value and the charting of it. Like, again, this is obviously you getting in at the precise price, but I really like this trade out of the gate. Why? Because your max loss was $17. And then you trade up to $1.56 at its highs. Are you going to catch the peak all the time? Absolutely not. But even right now, you're trading at 3x of what this contract was initially valued at on a contract's expiration today. Now, we're going back to the options writing world, $156. Yeah, the market can continue to climb, and this contract could close in the money. But with us starting to pull back in, look how quick and how drastic the decay is in this, right? So we have the accelerant of 0 DTE going on right now. So you have an increase of what you have in theta and the cooling of the volatility after Donald Trump's unfortunate ruling. So here it is. That's a nice move there on Amazon. I just wanted to bring that to you guys. We'll look to take advantage of these more often. I know that this is actually in the works now. I do know that options are going to be soon here and coming soon, especially with some bigger names. And I think opportunities like this with the 0 DTE and obviously with you can now go on the Mag 7 every 2 days of expiration. I think at some point it's just like, hey, with our risk measure, Sharif, you throw up a quarter of it or even a third of your risk just on one of these contracts, and you have the ability to pull in some of these substantial returns. So yeah, we'll be looking at this more forward and more often. But yeah, I wanted to bring this to you guys on Amazon. Aside from that, guys, enough of the, I should never say that, never enough of the options talk. Ooh. But we have the call walls on NVDA. You can see that we're slowly starting to pull up off of those zones. But just take note that this pullback volume is relatively weak, okay? So you can breach these levels, but the objective for those hedges by the end of the session, it doesn't matter if it's 189.95 or 189.98, as long as you're not a penny within the strike price, those close and expire out the money. Now, it's unfortunate because those contracts themselves had drastic appreciation over the volatility spikes, and you're not going to be collecting as much, and you can kind of get the jitters and the soft hands come into play. But I don't think today is going to be the session where we have that gamma exposure. So I'm going to be really looking forward to see how NVDA closes at the end of the day, and I also want to reload here on SLV.
I like it, Joey. I like how you're giving that forward outlook, my man. All right, we're right back into NCI. So I had to take it out. I took it out above break even, so it's been profitable so far. I ended up getting that dip into 55, but it didn't cross, so I didn't get the fill. So I had to chase it. I chased it into 61. So I didn't get the best price that I'd like, but we've already scalped up 69 out, 77 out. Now we're looking for 88s. It's giving me 86s, 85s. It's not crossing. Moreover, the spread is a little wide, 6 pennies at the moment. I've seen it tighter, I've seen it wider. So let's see how this bad boy ends up doing. But let's cut the crap. We're still putting in lower highs. So just because I was able to bottom pick over here some good outs, it doesn't mean that we are on an uptrend. We have to break prior bar high, and we have not done that on NCI since the candle at 11.05. Prior bar high takes us into 712. We just opened up a brand new candle, an 1120 candle. I think it's like 20 seconds deep. 40 seconds deep, sorry. So to break the trend, we need 712. We haven't even gotten above 7 on the current candle. So let's pack the patience. Let's see what we get. I still like the look of this one, but gonna have to be careful here. Right down it goes into 68, back down into 71. Look, I'm moving my stop prior bar low, which takes me to 660. If it loses 660, fine. Right? I'll just get back in. I always have that option. So we're putting stop prior bar low. That gives me literally 1 penny worth of risk. So prior bar low 60, I got in at 61. We're looking for 88s, 95s, and then we're looking for above 7. So let's see how this one does. I don't want to give back anything right now. We're going to keep it tight here on NCI, especially relative to the spread and the unbroken downtrend. There's 60. Oh, I have a dip trade waiting over there that unfilled. That's not the move. Showing 60. So there we go. We'll be out of that one, and we'll lose a penny per share. No, not a bad look. Let's see how this one sets up. It's still unbroken, lower highs. This is kind of what I'm looking at over here. Just you guys always see me looking to the right, and this is why I'm looking at this. So unbroken lower high setup into 650 it goes. It looks like there's buying at 650, 654. There's a buyer continuing to watch. I like this 50 penny level. I like it because VWAP and the 10 EMA on the 5 are out there. Now that topping tail candle, bottoming tail candle, the one that closed at 1110, the low is 630 there, okay? And that got bought up quite aggressively. We're at 645 right now. Let's watch a little bit, and then I can give it to that candle area low. Here's 641. There's 41. We're getting in, and we're giving it to 29. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if it holds up. Oh, that's not what you want, Joey.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go. Into 32s, looking for a 29 penny hold. We're in at 54s. It has to hold 29 because that is a doji candle low. We know the buyers were stepping up there aggressively, buying. So if they're not going to buy, I'm not going to be DCAing. I promise you that. Back into 40, 30, 32 showing up, still holding that candle low. There's a buyer at 32, 31, 30. It looks like it's going to lose it. Let's just watch. We will lose 14 pennies per share here on this one. So that's kind of the cost of doing business. Let's watch, see if this ends up defending, or is there going to be an area of illiquidity. I gave it a wide enough spread between my yeah, so there we go, we're out. We have to get out there. Yeah, now it's bleeding quite aggressively. So this one's giving back basically the entire move here. If it comes back into about $6, we'll have a look, but right now I have to stay clear of this one.
You would have to order shorts for that one there, eh? Probably.
NCI? Almost always, bro. Almost always. That we especially the ones that typically have like lower average daily volume. It's always you got to look for shorts there. Yeah, so that's a look. I want to mention as well, SATL coming into a predictable area. I want to say that volume weighted average price right around 369, 370 could be a good pickup area. It was also a former area of resistance as well. So let's see what this one has to offer. It's not a big on the day, up 14 3/4, Joey, but I'm going to keep my eye on that.
Right arm, as my boys would like to say. Right arm. Yeah, all right, guys, so this is going to be our game plan here on SLV. If we are fortunate enough to get any form of a dip south of this support system right here, I think that's going to be a good add opportunity. Obviously, we want to wait for price action to turn around, but right now, silver's been working out. I'm sitting on 20%. I know you don't see it on the position board, But as soon as I make a transaction, you will. So we're going to be patient, sit on our hands. I mentioned we had a nice little move there in NVDL, the 2x leverage. And then now we're trading silver. We're currently sitting in that one. And we were in the TQQs earlier in the day. And all I had really on my list was silver, open, and TQs. Open Door hasn't been performing very well. There was an opportunity for a breakout as well, but I just didn't take advantage of it, nor was it continued or the move sustained. And I'm all right with that. So with Open Door, you get this big pop, you get this break, right? So you're forming this wedge, and then you kind of fall right into a resistance zone of the pre-market, and then you come back in, and now you're starting to crack some pre-market lows, and it looks like you're going to give back a little bit of this move from yesterday's pop. So Open Door continuing to slide here. We're waiting for that quality opportunity. If there's going to be a reload chance here on SLV. And then, guys, this is what we're talking about, and I'm really happy that a bunch of you brought this up here today, just the gamma exposure at 190. Right? Like, look at that, almost to a penny. You get a little bit of a wick, but look what's been going on with NVDA ever since you run into that supply zone. We've rejected 126,000. Next Wednesday's the report, I believe, right?
What? February 25th.
25th.
I don't know what date
so yeah, that would be, I believe that would be the Wednesday. So yeah, next Wednesday, so next Wednesday is going to be the report. And guess what, guys? We have to keep an eye on of the exact same thing, the exposure to gamma. And if it's continuously through these strike prices, like if we go even higher on the options chain, we can see that, like, oh no, this might be really tough for us to break through these zones. So we'll go over to the 25th because we actually have an expiration cycle here and see what we have going on just from a gamma exposure. There'll probably be a little bit more. So 200 right there, right? Okay, that's this day. Come on, get it together there. Skip. February 23rd, interesting. No, we don't want that one. So we'll go over to the 27th and see what we got going on at that 200 mark. I'm going to be looking for this to grow. And if it doesn't, then I could see maybe a little bit of a spike through these zones in NVDA. Because we've mentioned this on multiple occasions, and we've gone through multiple reports together as a unit, and we've seen massive amounts of exposure on NVDA leading into the earnings report. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, and if we run into the triple digits, like 112K at that $200 mark and 126K at that 90 mark, if that doesn't grow in size by next Wednesday, I might think about a little bit of a pop on that earnings report, Tree.
All right, brother. Good stuff, Joey.
It sounded like you were ready to throw a boom out there. That's why I sent it, because I know you. I try to anticipate when you're ready. And there it goes.
No, I was trying to respond to people in the chat as well as throw in orders. You know how it is, bro.
Yeah, we know how it goes.
Say that again, Assassino. Oh my days, Casey 520 frickin' 6 doing it again. She got a new profile picture. She's dropping big memberships in the chat for everybody, guys. If the only way to be on the receiving end of KC526's generosity, as well as other viewers who also are quite generous with their time and with their money, you got to be in the chat, right? You got to be in the chat. Otherwise, you're not going to get one of those free membies. Philosopher, you got one. Big Smile got one.
Go ahead, take that back.
My man.
Take that one back.
I am Edward got one. Girl Trader got one. Jacques, my man, Jacques got one. Vlad, Caniff, Sam Stamper. Who else? Noodles. Okay. Even Noodles got one, Joey.
All right.
Noodles has been getting.
Do you know Noodles the wiener dog? Probably not, eh?
No, I don't, but, I can get acquainted. Everything's fine, Joey. All right, thank you very much, KC526. Always doing it live. We do appreciate you, Case. Thank you very, very much. And by the way, for those who are now premium members as a result of KC526's generosity, let me show you where to get my morning note every single day. So here we go. This is the Trader TV Live YouTube homepage. Just head on over to that bad boy. You click posts right there, and then scroll on down. There it is. You're going to see a green little badge there. It says members only. Sharif's morning note. If you're not a member, you won't see it. You hit read more. Boom. There she is. NVIDIA throwing another $30 billion at Altman and Company. So make sure you're getting that every day. Dude. It does certainly help. Hold on, Joe.
No, I'm talking to myself.
Okay. Zen Zombie, MGRX. Let's take a quick look here at MGRX. Thank you, Zen Zombie, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Tell him, Russ.
Tell him, Russ.
Tell him, Russ.
Get him, bro.
All right, there we go. Russ is yelling up a storm outside there, man. Oh, my good. MGRX, yeah, south of $1, but certainly holding those higher lows. It's below VWAP right now, SSC.
Whoa. Did I just hear that?
What?
That sounded like the OLG thing.
Yeah, it's not that one, though. They've been playing it a lot. I'm surprised you haven't heard it.
No.
Assassino, hit it for your boy
Play it again.
It's different. It's different, but...
Oh, that wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that's not the...
oh, okay.
You're hearing stuff.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
All right. Man, that game's affecting you, my guy. Oh,
we're down
my
1-0.
days. Kill Bill, buddy. It's Kill Bill. Shout out to the man.
You know what I'm doing right now, Sheree?
Hold on, Joey. Can I just cover it for the super chat?
Absolutely.
MGRX. So I do like this. I also don't like the fact that it has a flat top in and around 62 pennies and it put in a lower high at 61. So you need to be looking out for that because that's telling you a story. The sellers and or the profit takers, you know, they were looking at 62, 63. Now they're getting aggressive at 61 and change. So that's the story that it's telling you. So try to look for those levels to get cleared before you know, getting in hot and heavy there. Otherwise, I just don't like these sub $1 names, but that's just my bias. Grunfeld, RMSG breaking $1. I think KC526 was talking about RSMG. She was just talking, or RS, what? RMSG. There we go. Yeah, KC526 was talking about this one as well. I saw her mentioning it to Bovin. Breaking into that 1.0, I want to say the high there is 105. Dropping back down into VWAP, 2-candle pullback. I like the buy zone between 93 to 91. 91, topping tail candle, resistance. 93, volume weighted average price. That's how I would be looking at. Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, all right, man, guys. So we reloaded there on silver. I'm going to take a little bit off here. But what I was working on there, what I was trying to tell Sharif is that I'm changing my gateway. I'm like, hey, Obie, what's your immediate punch? And he's like, hey, man, that's the Frex gateway. Because I was telling Sharif yesterday, man, I miss on so many entries just due to my cross. And I've had it up the ear with it. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm changing everything, absolutely everything to this Frex gateway. So when I hit that key, I want in. I want in immediately. I don't want no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have a conversation about it or anything along those lines. So we're going to apply that right now to see if we can get rocking and rolling. We take a little bit off there. I don't even know what I just did. But anyways, aside from that, guys, let's see if this is going to work for us. This feels a little bit laggy to me right now. I don't know what's going on. There's some data missing or something along those lines. But you could see now that my average has gone up substantially, I only had 20% off. I removed that, and then now I'm just holding whatever I have in this remaining reload. So if we can break through 74.70 or even hold this zone, I like our chances for taking a little bit more off in that specific area. So things slowly starting to work out with us for us here on SLV reload. And let's see what else we got going on. Why am I adding here? Because this looks pretty bullish to me, if you ask me. So a lot of buying pressure starting to step in. We want to draw our trend lines, still holding up relatively tight. A nice little pop up. And then now we have NVDA and the TQQs bouncing off of the volume weighted average price. I'm not really worried about open door right now because it's going up with the market. There it goes. We're printing 65s. We're going to print 70s. There we go. We print the 70s just like that, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
On SLV. We'll take some more off up there. A nice little reload there. Patience is key. And full disclosure, I was on a 3-day red streak, but I just tried to keep those losses as small as I could. We're eliminating that right now, and we're going to try to keep February on a positive note and end it heading into next week, final week. Let's rock and roll. Let's get in that flow state, and let's try to perform as best as we can.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. Hope you print up multiple storms there. I'm in SATL. VWAP bounce here. Doji candle changing its tune. Where are we in at 74s? SATL, this looks like a good area of support here, so I'm going to give this one the old college try. But Nick wanted me to look at M, Macy's. Let's take a quick look here at M. Let me just throw in my stop, by the way, for my SATL. There we go. Let's just throw that in. Perfect. Let's take a look at M. Okay, so this is the intraday for M. So it looks like everything and their mother caught that nice price spike up at 10 o'clock when the Supreme Court ruled, and then, you know, a lot of reversions as I've seen on many different charts. So M, let's go to the daily, because this has not been bad. Okay, we need the weekly certainly here because we're far too consolidative. Okay, so now it looks a bit cleaner. Those are from 2015's highs. So we're definitely still caught in a downtrend. I won't be convinced any differently on this. We've been putting incrementally lower highs, and those lower highs don't happen by accident. It is tough for me to say because it's just been in such a long area of, I don't want to say consolidation, but it has $10 generally to the area low. Those are the COVID era lows. That's 2020. This is the weekly, by the way, on Macy's. So $10 low certainly looks like they're selling at around 27 to 28. Not sure why. It doesn't quite make it up to 30 most times. So selling at 25 locally over here, as you can see. I like the uptrend, but I'm aware of the larger downtrend, quite frankly, on this one. So to me, it would be a buy above 25, which gets above the January 23 highs, right? This is not a bad chart when you look at it from the daily, but when you look at the weekly, it's certainly had better days. 25, definitely, if you're looking at getting in here, I'd be taking some profits at 25. And then, again, as I mentioned, 27 to 28 seems to find a lot of resistance there with the outliers going to and above 30. I hope that helps, Nick. This is not something that, Macy's is not something that I personally would invest in at the moment. I think department stores have had, you know, they're past their prime, so to speak, because of Amazon Prime, but, you know. Not my favorite chart, brother, but I don't know what your situation is on it, and let me know how it goes. I hope I wasn't too convoluted in my analysis there, but it's not one that I really quite like. All right, how we doing here? SATL, we're break even on it right now. I'm looking for a VWAP hold if it loses prior bar low, or sorry, not prior bar low, the doji candle on the 5, which the low of which is 366.5. So I've put my stop just a little bit below that. That's that one. I'm also keeping an eye on NCI. The OG Bovin was telling me, look, Sharif, this one is catching a bit of a bid again. Yep, into that $6 area and looking at bouncing back up. But I'm seeing BDMD make a move here. BDMD is making a move. Let's talk about it. Thank you, by the way, Guju Trader, for pointing that one out. Here's BDMD. It is breaking out. It looks fantastic. It was light on volume. That has since changed. And into 237 it goes. 210 EMA, or 10 EMA on the 5. $2 obviously area support, psychological support with VWAP hanging out far below at $1.92. This is up 47%. This has earned its way on my side chart, BDMD. Good look there. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to work into this one. Initially, I'm thinking a 210 drop, but that might be a little bit too deep of a drop, right? Because that'll have to give off about 20 pennies from where we are right now. We have currently a lower high on the 5, so we haven't quite made it back up there. Clearly a higher low, though. Thank you for this one, Guju Trader. I didn't have my eye on BDMD. We'll try to work into this one. I'll see how my SATL trade resolves. It doesn't look good right now, to be honest with you, on SATL. I want to mention this one, TNDM. This is continuing to make highs through 25. We were talking about 25 being a resistance level on this initially when we started the show, and now it's 25.59 high. It really hasn't breached the 10 EMA at all. Just on a wick basis over here at 1050, and then reclaimed it pretty quickly. On a closing basis, we haven't closed below the 10 since that candle at 950. So TNDM is the ticker there, and it looks quite good. So I'm going to be looking at BDMD, SATL, TNDM. There goes TNDM, man, into another area high. And let's not forget about RXT. Okay, I'm looking long on RXT if it can break trend. If it doesn't, I'm gonna look to Neil. I'm like, my man Neil, I'm gonna need shorts on your boy RXT because we're gonna take this one short below the volume weighted average price. But that's all predicated upon it continuing to reject that same trend line that it's been doing, Joey. So that is my look there.
All right, man, good look there. What isn't a good look is 2-0 Finland, shorthanded goal right there. So yeah, it's tough to come back.
That's
especially in
crazy.
Yeah, shorthander.
It was shorthander.
Yeah, shorthanded goal there. So
Yeah,
that's not what you want to see. Yeah, did you turn it off? Oh, I thought you said you were going to turn it off, yeah.
No.
But no, there we go, guys. We're getting a nice little pullback here in silver. Some indecision prints on the lower time frames as well. So I think we can get a little bit of a pop here. Next objective and target price is going to be 74.80s. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Some strength within the tape. Let's get our quote highlights on here to see if we can depict if there's any form of a ladder on the L2. I don't see anything substantial right now. We can decrease that in size. So we'll keep an eye on that one. 2NY, Joe, I have an options question. What happens if your options expires worthless? Well, it depends if you are selling or buying, right? If it's not worth it, if you're selling and it expires worthless essentially, and it's out of the money, then you get to keep all that premium. But if it expires worthless and it's somewhat in the money, then what am I saying? So that's it. The contract's dead. As long as you don't get assigned is what you really want to worry about, okay? So if you have a short options contract and it expires in the money, obviously you're going to get assigned that short. But you also want to close. The idea of the options is essentially closing them before they expire, right? So you just kind of gain that value, okay? If your options expire, nothing happens. Exactly, nothing happens essentially. If it's worthless at the end of the day. So, but if you're writing, that's what you want. That's the objective, is that you want it to expire worthless so that you can keep all of the options premium, all right? So yeah, here it is, guys. That's what we got going on. You can still see we're in SLV. Let's go through the mag and see what these boys are up to. I haven't taken a look at them. I want to see what CrowdStrike is, how CrowdStrike's performing, so we'll do that momentarily. My eyes are still on silver. Let's see if we can get that sustained push. We'll run through the big boys right now, all 7 of them. Never mind on the daily. We'll head over to the 5-minute. We got the 10-minute. Apple continuing to climb up to 263, so a nice stair-step pattern right there in AAPL. Microsoft kind of lagging, right? I like what Neil was talking about earlier this morning, is just the fact that, hey, if you're not really participating, then what really are you doing in this rally? And Microsoft doesn't really seem to want to. We're heading back towards the previous highs in NVDA. Amazon has been performing half decently, but we're bouncing off the volume-weighted average price. And Tesla doing the exact same thing. So an aggressive pullback here, guys. The volatility is most definitely kicking in. But one thing that is continuing to skyrocket here today is Google, G-O-O-G-L, continuing to climb. And same with Meta. Meta continuing to climb all the way up to 663 on today's session. And we don't really talk about this one too often. And that's Broadcom. I feel like we should, because considering it is a part of the $1 trillion club, but there is Broadcom bouncing off the volume-weighted average price as well.
Let's see the daily on that piece of good stuff. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out.
That's as far as I can zoom, my boy.
That's it, eh? All right, we're still in that. I don't like it. I don't care about too much because it barely spent any time there. But see that consolidative look with a downward tilt?
Yeah.
See that? That concerns me a little bit.
You think you're gonna break? You think you're gonna break and maybe head a little bit lower? I think that in the overall market too. This was just a bounce that I don't know what was going on with it, but we talk about necklines being broken. I think this is just a prolonged bounce, essentially, just delaying the inevitable of us breaking that $600 mark and heading a little bit lower. All right, so that's what I think about the Nasdaq. I could be totally wrong. Let's see what NVDA does as it's going to retest that 190 mark. But see ya. What do you got going on?
Yeah, it's just Tesla right now. So apparently you can get the new Cybertruck dual motor AWD for $52,940 in Massachusetts, which includes the state's $7,500 EV incentive and Tesla's $1,000 referral program discount. The eligibility for this is that the total MSRP should be below $80,000, applies to cash, 36-month lease, and finance purchases, and should be a self-claim post-delivery.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. It's an all-wheel drive.
What I didn't like is that you see what I did this morning when we were doing the Tesla segment?
No, I was
Cybertruck?
Yeah. Oh, how you compare the prices?
Well, they dropped the price of the Cyber Beast, which is the best type of Cybertruck.
Yeah, to 60K.
That's not the best one. The Cyber it was like 114, 113ish.
Yeah.
They dropped it to 99 and change.
Okay.
All right, so that's America.
Yeah, I know. I see.
That's America.
I've seen that part.
You want to know what it is in Canada?
Yeah, 160, 170.
175.
Yeah, 175, man. Just in case.
All the good stuff. All the good stuff. Oh, that's the way it is, Joe. All right. So
would the government want to get their hands in on some of that?
And that's without
the pay HST
you wouldn't be able to get the 5,000 EV credit because it's too expensive. BDMD is coming down into the 10 EMA. Let's see if we can get in here. We got a bunch of that. It's coming quite aggressively. $2 is going to have to be my line in the sand. We have 18s on it showing me 10s, but this is an aggressive drop on BDMD. Let's see if it holds $2. It has to hold 2. I can add into 2, but I'm not going to DCA below 2. There it goes. We're out. Wow, what a move down. That murked me there, man. That was a murking.
Holy cow, look at
the move down. That's going to hold. Limit down, guys, 186. Limit down is 186. We're not quite there. We're flashing. Okay, so it's a new limit down now, 177. My goodness, what a drop on BDMD. That was ugly. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to halt. I'm sitting there thinking we're going to stop at $2. It lost it in a hurry. You know what really kind of gave it up? Or gave it away, that topping till into 46. I got printed there, and then immediately upon printing 46, the short seller was just like looking to trap you right all the way down into the 30s, and there was no bid in the 30s. I'm like, okay, well, it's a liquidity zone. Add, boom, negative on the day. All right, so now we're gonna look to get out of this, as that was not a good trade, but that's kind of the way that goes. Focusing on SATL, waiting for this one to either break above that 380-ish area, or I'm going to get stopped out below 365. TNDM is probably what I should be looking at here, because this one continues to find support off the volume weighted average or off the 10 EMA on the 5. It's a bit more expensive, but the spread is reasonable for the price. 47 on the ask, 31 on the bid. Let's get in here. Let's see if we can kind of hold the 10 EMA. And if this one wants to make a move into 65, we'll take that bad boy let's put the beak wetter at the $0.50. I don't mind picking up a little bit more into that 25, I want to say 25 mid-teen area. We'll see there. By the way, for those who are asking about RXT, the shorts, we're actually, the shorts are free. Thanks, I appreciate Neil. So this one, we can short it for free, so that's kind of good and bad, because you know if they're easy locates. Sometimes it's tough to short because everybody's got access, but that's kind of moot at the moment, because what it's looking like to me is it's got a bit of a higher low trend here with a pseudo higher high, and it's also breaking that downtrend line. So if that's the case, I want to take RXT possibly back in for a $2 test. It's a 192 high. What I'd be looking for specifically, and I think I'm going to throw an order there, let's see if we can get above this prior bar high, the bar at 140, the high of which is 177.5. So you put a 178.5, 178 breakout, and that takes out prior bar high, and that could get you into the trade. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye out on there, looking for an entry on RXT, but I've already worked into TNDM, looking for that one to hold, Joey.
All right, good luck there, brother. I mentioned that I wanted to take a look here at CrowdStrike. A nice little pop today up to 426. Walmart not performing well whatsoever. So we're seeing a little bit of a rotation, I'm thinking here. And this name's been on a substantial run too, right up to 134. So you're experiencing somewhat of a pullback, almost 10% at this point. And then we're going to take a look at Costco as it's holding up half decently as well. So we'll keep an eye on these. And Procter & Gamble, how have you been performing? A solid green day today, and you're not too far off of this previous pivot high. So a good look there. Starbucks performing relatively well. I heard the folks talking about that this morning. So there's a couple of solid names. And if we go over to Applied Material, TKO, I think this is the... Oh, yay. It's my favorite stock, man. Even my favorite stock that I don't own is right here. I don't know why I don't, but anyways, we'll figure that out. That's not too complicated. You hit a couple of buttons, and then next thing you know, you're a proud owner of TKO. So there you go. RDDT. Let's see what we got going on here. Reddit not performing, guys. Just going through the list. And are we still continuing to climb here on Google? So as for silver, oh wow, what a rebound here in Google. That's a massive up move there. Now only down 10% off of that previous pivot high, and we were down, what, approximately 15%? So that's a big-time move here in goggles on today's session. Palantir, how have you been performing? One thing that I want to note, sorry, I'm just like going through a bunch of names, but I feel like, hey, it's like, why not? This is how we do TA.
Yo, the mag is going, bro. The mag, I think they're just generally long, except that hot garbage Tesla. You know, I don't feel it.
Yeah,
you see the mag is clean here,
today.
Joey.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that this move can be sustained after what we experienced today, or do you think we fade back in a little bit?
Well, we've been higher on some of the mag names, right? Like locally, like the last couple of months, right? So I think we could...
so sorry, let me rephrase my question.
Sure.
Do you think this is the move where we go and break the previous all-time highs?
Hard to say, Joe, because what if he comes out, you know, with another plan on the weekend, and he said he's already got a plan B, right? So that's the thing. What's up, Assassino?
We're heading over to Sia. But here's Robinhood. Guys, we're slowly starting to form a base before we go over to Sia. What I want to see is a little bit of a consolidation, maybe a slight move lower, a retest of this backside of the move, and then maybe we'll find somewhat of a rebound in a longer duration on Robinhood. But Sia, what do you have for us?
Got it, Sia.
Yeah, just a quick small cap here. The Russell's down 0.27% today, but I'm going to quickly talk about three individual tickers. RMSG, Real Messenger Corporation, up 30.46% today. The reason is unknown. I cannot find anything on this, but yeah, big number there. Urban, URBN in retail down almost 2%. CEO Richard Hayne has sold 40,000 shares as of yesterday, and the company has been maintained at an outperform by Telsey Advisory Group. Also, LGN, Legions, up almost 16% in the market today, has announced that it will be releasing results for the fourth quarter and full year ended December 31, 2025, on Friday, 27th of March, 2026, prior to the opening of the market, pre-market, and has also maintained a buy by Goldman Sachs. That's all.
Thank you, Sia. That's too light on volume, Bovin, YIBO. 839,000. It's light. Nice breakout. 31.87%. YIBO Planet Image International. Shout out to the OG Bovin, but a little bit light on volume, Joey. What were you? You were going to say something about the top and the mag.
So it's the way I feel, and I hope that again, I don't want to come off as a pessimist or anything along those lines. Just thinking about a little bit longer duration. I mean, we've been on a substantial run, so I think there's a little bit of, I don't want to call it bamboozlement, but a prolonged, we're just delaying a little bit of a pullback here, in my opinion. I could be totally wrong here, and for the sake of the market and long-term portfolios, I am. But in the triple Qs, right, in the Nasdaq and in the SPY, I just have this hunch that I feel like, and someone posted on X today the Wyckoff theory, just accumulation and distribution, and I feel like we're kind of in that phase right now. And I'm not going to say we're going to have that 20% pullback or that bear market kind of territory, but I do believe that we're going to break down a little bit through some support levels, and I think that's healthy for the market as well too, so we can get that sustained move. So I wouldn't be surprised in the near future, like you said, Sharif, if he comes out with his plan B and the street doesn't like his plan B, I can see the market coming back in and giving back the majority of today's gains.
I don't think the street's going to like tariffs at all, Joey.
No.
I mean, and they haven't, right, since he's been putting it on. Analysts have, you know, been quite bearish on it. So my concern is he throws the tariff curveball back into the mix.
Yes, exactly.
And then, you know, the ascension today in the price corrects again.
Exactly.
You know, that's
it's just like it's pricing it in, and now it just bakes it right back out as soon as he releases his plan B.
And Rivian Millionaire, great point, brother. Dude, the Qs is down 3% year to date. Let me just double check that. The Qs are down 0.72% year to date, brother. The DIA is up 3, the SPY is up 1, and the IWM is 7.5.
What did you say was down 3% year to date?
There's nothing down 3%. The Qs, as you can see, look at that year-to-date column.
Yeah.
Down what? 0.73.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
0.75%.
From year-to-date anyway. They were down. Yeah, you're not wrong. They were down. Guys, and then that's the thing. We don't have to be at all-time highs every day. But, yeah, I get everybody's concern. Obviously, the market has been in that consolidative state. And I think that that's completely normal, right? Valuations have to catch up to price. But when we're in that consolidative state, a lot of people do not like it. So,
no, sir.
Yeah, they kind of get, you know, you get used to the moves constantly going to the high side, right? And that's a look there. All right, guys, I'm looking at RNG. This one's curling back above, looking at breaking out into 40, so I'm looking at that one. I'm in 3 positions at the moment. We're looking at doing it live on RXT. RXT's broken trend. I'm looking for that one to hold up. I've also built a position into TNDM, about a little bit out of the money right now, but looking for that 25 penny area to hold. And I'm still holding SATL, but I don't think I'm gonna hold it for much longer. This isn't the move here, so we're gonna take it, break even, and get the hell out and focus on the ones that are making a move, and there goes RXT into 82. What do we have on this? We have 79s, and we built a good position. So I'm looking for this one to kind of ride, possibly back. I'd like to see it take out the high of the candle at 11:15, which was 183. It's at 182 now. Let's go ahead and set up some profit takers a little bit above that and see if we can get a price spike up and take advantage of that. So I'm going to focus on TNDM and RXT, Joey.
All right, good look there, brother. We can't get this 80 print that we're looking for on SLV. We keep knocking on that door, so we'll keep an eye on it. We're almost there. I think one more push. If we squeeze any form of shorts out, then I think we can get that move up into 74.80, and that's when we're going to look to take that next little bit of profit off the table. But you can see we're just kind of ebb and flowing right now, stuck in limbo, up and around these highs. But we had NVDA recover right back to that high, so let's see how we react once again. Could we put in a double top? Maybe, possibly, but also we can see the squeeze. But I think the objective by the end of the session here, considering we've seen that gamma exposure and that high level of open interest, is for us to close, or not us, I'm not involved in anything, but for the hedgies to have those contracts close south of 190 on the intraday session. So be patient. There's the pullback in SLV, so we're not getting the move that we're looking for, but we're getting a nice nice bounce there on NVDA. Los Polios, are you still involved in this? I'm curious to know. Here's Open Door. I think this is an all-day fader and continuous to the downside. I don't know how much of a sustained bounce you're going to get in that one. Obviously, we could be wrong. But here's the trend line. If this really breaks on silver, then we're going to be in... then we're going to have to probably get out and trail out our stop, because this is an aggressive candle to the downside. And if the volume on the lower time frames really starts to pick up and you can see it slowly start to stair step higher, then we have to take into consideration we'll trail out and then we'll get out of the remaining amounts. So that's what we have going on. I want to hit my key again, to be honest with you. I don't want to just punch into anything randomly, but I want to see if I kind of fixed what I was having issues with before using that Frex key that Obie was telling me about. So yeah, we'll take a look at that. Still 2-0 Finland here, guys, but not much time left in the second period. Things are getting tough. I don't know if, man, from my experience, a 2-goal lead heading into the third. The Finns did it yesterday, okay? Or 2 days ago. 2-goal lead heading into the third is scary, but coming back twice in a row from being down a goal or plus is difficult. Okay, very, very difficult. And I had a 3-1 victory on Canada over Finland today with Connor McDavid with 2 goals. So the big boys are really going to need to step up. Connor McDavid needs to score 2 goals this game, and then we'll get another dirty one. I don't know why Tom Wilson is on the team either. But anyways, aside from that, I would pick him over Connor Bedard over him all day, every day, and a couple other people like Seth Jarvis and stuff like that. No,
we're on a power play.
Yeah,
so we just started the power play. Yeah. They need to score here.
They need to score here with 6 minutes left remaining in the second.
Who's the best line? Who's our best power play line?
The one that we got on right now, Connor McDavid with Nathan McKinnon and Macklin Celebrini. So
are we on the same? What time do you have?
I got 5 5s.
Yeah, you're ahead of me by no. Yeah, you're ahead of me by like a second
couple
or two.
Seconds. Yeah. And then Neil was saying that as well.
Neil's got it up as
Neil's
well.
Got it on as well. So we may as well just shut it down.
Honestly, this is the best. Hey, we said they had to score. They scored. It is a different game now. It is 2-1, baby. Let's go, Joey. Let's go. Come on now.
So again, I'm just gonna go back into the book. So I remember it was a long time ago, and we had an amazing team.
We had an amazing team.
We were the best team in the league. We lost about like a handful of games all year with an outstanding record.
Right.
Anyways. I remember it's the finals, right? This team is our arch rivals. They're equally as good. It's a coin flip. And I remember I scored the first goal in the finals, and I sellied. But I had that gut feeling. I'm like, I have a hunch that we had some younger guys on the team. I said, I have a feeling we're going to do something stupid here. And sure enough, we take 2 dumb penalties, the younger guys, and they score on both of them.
No.
And then we were fortunate enough to tie it up 2-2 with like a couple of seconds left in the third. But then we lost in overtime.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, that was probably one of my most devastating. Yeah, I'll never forget that day. Yeah. When we were supposed to win, like it's like you are the guys, you are the team to beat, but you end up beating yourself is what really grind my gears.
And making those type of penalties, especially when it's the youngins too.
It's the younger kids,
you can't really point too much at them.
No, but it's like,
young,
hey man, you can't be doing that. Like your selfishness cost the team. Even though we lose as a team, because you decided to give Buddy an extra shove because he hit you the way you didn't like after the whistle,
that's
right?
What it was,
or you decide to slash somebody in the legs because you felt they did something to you, and the ref is always going to make that second call. And those were the scenarios that ended up costing us a championship.
I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. There goes RXT, guys. We're in at 79. We're wetting the beak. I think the best print I have right now is 87s, which is candle high. Let's see if this one can kind of go. There's 87 again. Let's post at 88s, by the way. We've got shares on this one. Seller at 87 here on RXT. It's back. It's broken trend. It's got aggressively green candles. There's 88. Can we continue a little bit higher? We're going to wait here, and we're going to pack the patience on RXT. Let's see if it can take out that 190 area. There is 190. Joey, it just killed all the shorts. Oh, no, they're dead. They died. That's a new high a day. Into 196 we go. Let's post at 99s here. Now we're going to have resistance at 2. We know 2 is going to be a bit of a tough level to get through. Huge seller at 95, Joseph. 96 area high. Watch out for the rejection at 2. It doesn't have to get specifically into 2. Can get into that 2 area. So keeping an eye on this one. Good move here on RXT. Let's see if this one can continue. I've still got TNDM. I'm out of the money by this. I'm break even on this one, but it's not moving up, and I am concerned about it. Do you have anything to mention before we send it to C and Neil?
Yeah,
Are we going to Neil directly?
I do actually.
Go ahead.
And it goes like, go Canada, go.
Welcome, everybody. Well, I'll second that one. Go Canada, go. I have no idea why you guys. We're in the same network, but I'm like three or 4 seconds behind when I'm watching it. So these dudes are like celebrating, and I'm like, we're on the power play. I know we've scored, and so that shot must have to go in. But you know what? Just like you have a game-changing moment when you get off the schneid and get that goal, way to go Canada, sort of changing the litmus. The market can do the same thing. And oftentimes what'll happen, you know, at times you've heard us say, oh, we got an 830 number, you know, don't overreact to it, but the sentiment could change. Make sure that you are nimble with your plans of action. And it's true for all other economic data. But there's very few times that we'll actually look at an economic number intraday and say, hey, this one's going to be a big mover. Now, obviously, when we had the Supreme Court decision, I'm going to use the SPY because I think it's going to be a little bit better here to show the volume spike. Yeah, the volume spike's much better on the SPY, and ignore the dark pool one there. When we had that Supreme Court decision, there are 2 things about it that made it change the way the market was going. Now, one of them is obvious in that it's just a big deal. You could see the volume spike. Even if you weren't aware that there was a decision potentially today at 10, you could get the ruling. If you were looking at anything, you instantly knew something had changed based on looking at your tape. Stops would have got run if you were sure. Like, it was very obvious that something was happening. But you have to be able to do 2 things. One, you've got to understand that the market has now fundamentally changed. And 2, you then have to analyze whether that change matters to what it is that you are looking at. Now, for most stocks, probably the answer is going to be yes. It's not always across the board, but in most situations, the answer is going to be yes there. But there is one other aspect of this that, at least for myself, was the biggest learning point. The last 2 times we waited around for an interest rate, or not interest rate, for the Supreme Court decision, we knew it could come and then it didn't. And I remember both times being like, okay, there's a chance we could get it. Let's be ready. You know, could be a good opportunity to punch a break, like that kind of a thing. And then we got a nothing burger. And I remember after the second time this happened, I took the attitude of, well, you know what? They're not going to do it. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, I'm just going to behave like normal every single time we get this. And then, of course, this one time, exactly what you would expect to happen, Murphy's Law is going to come right into effect. And like a fool, now normally I would cancel orders in that situation. Like, okay, well, Bitcoin was doing its normal thing. I've shorted my pop. There's a topping tail, didn't get that reload. But, you know, we're able to get some out. I'm going to reload it into that high. My order was sitting there. Almost every single time, if I'm anticipating an economic number or something that can move the market, the first thing I do is I cancel those orders and then look to take the trade on the back end of it. Murphy's Law, the one time you decide to change your behavior, it's going to burn you. And that's exactly what happened. It went from green to red on IBIT. Now, obviously, the other thing you have to ask yourself is, did things fundamentally change with Bitcoin? I'd like to say, for me, yes, because it stopped, like after it stopped out, it made this play. But then more importantly, okay, when it comes back down and the volatility starts to spread out, does it hold? Well, it held a higher low after the fact. So after the fact, there's one bounce, there's two bounces. Those are a couple of higher lows. And then it looked like a breakout trend. I wait till it actually breaks a higher high. Now this is, like, some people are more aggressive than me, and I get that. That's just me. So there we get the bounce. It finally breaks out after we got the number, and it's still putting in higher lows. When it makes another trend line, then now I'm a long Bitcoin person for the first time in like weeks. I've actually taken a long in Bitcoin. So like part of the story, of course, is going to be understanding that you have to, whether it's flip, just stop what you were doing before, recognize whether it's going to change the litmus here, which it did for the Bitcoin with the trend. But the other side, when you have a set of rules, when you have a way of doing things, specifically like this, around economic numbers, around a decision, around a Fed decision. Like you'll see us when we come on air at 2 o'clock or coming on a bit early whenever there's a Fed decision, you'll almost always see me flat with no orders out. There's a reason for that. Look to play to react. And in this particular case, knowing there could be something big, the one time that I didn't do that, cancel orders and wait for the back end to see if something changes, the one time, it can burn you. And so that's the importance of discipline. That's the importance of why you should know what data is due out that day. That's why we went over the possibility that it could come out so that you can be prepared. But you still have to stay disciplined. It only takes one mistake to get you in FOMO land. So hopefully that does help. And I just saw a super chat in here that I'm going to read out. Don't focus money, make food for children. I'm just looking at this super chat and I'm like, yeah, make food for children. And I'm actually, usually I haven't had the lunch when I do the lesson of the day, but this time I've already gotten into, this is supposed to be like a shepherd's pie. There's barely any potatoes in it, which is fine. It just means more protein. It's pretty much flavorless. Wish I had like some good hot sauce I could put on it. I'll give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. And I think you get the extra half point because there's a lot of protein in it. But there's pretty much zero flavor. Like not at all. It's very, very bland, but that's okay. At the end of the day, everybody, I think we all learned a pretty good lesson when you have the potential of a market-moving event, that we have to be prepared for it. Even if it's like, okay, most of the time you weren't expecting a decision, or most of the time this number doesn't move the market, you got to prepare as if this time is going to matter, and just be consistent. Because then the one time it does, you're locked and loaded and ready to go. Good luck, everybody, and go Team Canada. You got to figure this out.
Just right over here, super important. In 40 minutes, U.S. President Donald Trump will be holding a press conference to brief about the Supreme Court's tariff decision today at 12:45 p.m. ET. Of course, I'll be giving you live updates, if any.
Yeah,
that's what I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You throw in a little sodium here, bro.
It's the end of the world
as we know it. 36 seconds left in the second period. There should be a good intermission talk there. I'd be yelling, right? Be like,
oh. No, you don't. You do the opposite. That's
really?
One thing. Yeah. You do the opposite.
Soccer managers yell.
No. You keep it calm and cool. You don't yell.
Really?
Because as soon as you get that animosity, it's a guaranteed loss. That's one thing.
Seriously,
After those penalties, everybody started yelling at each other on the bench, immediate loss.
Straight
so
to
you
jail.
go in there, you say you play your best, you give it everything, and whatever happens, happens. But just know that you left it all out there.
Yeah.
And you end the conversation. You don't yell. You say, "Hey, we made a mistake. You had the shorthanded goal. We made our mistakes. Now let's correct them. You're dominating. You're literally doubling them in shots. Essentially, go out there and beat them.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Get her done.
Just get her done.
All right, man. RXT is the gift that keeps on giving, unlike that hot garbage TNDM, which I'm back into, by the way. But there it goes. We're in at 79 here on RXT, showing threes, fours, $2.03, $2.04, 206 high. My next profit taker is at 11. It's got a good breakout here, man. It was a very, you know what I want to start saying, Joey? These are almost, I want to categorize these type of setups as A or A plus setups. Yeah. They have been highly reliable. What am I talking about? I'm talking about these stair steps up, the long, prolonged downtrend with lower highs, and then a clear break of that trend line. If you get the clear break, it's almost always good. I got caught off once where it ended up making a lower high. So for example, that was the intraday high, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll pop off, say something like this. It'll end up making a lower high. So say for example, 185 rather than that 195.
Yeah.
And then it'll drop back down. But you're alive to that because if it makes a lower high, you're like, all right, this isn't the move. Yeah. Let me get out. But these are almost always A plus setups.
Yeah, I think so. I think so many things went right for it on that setup as well too. If we can pull that back up.
Yep.
Is that you have that trend line there, and then you have the break, like the opening up on the backside of that trend line, and then I seen on your other charts that the volume really stepped in.
Yeah, it was
really stepped in. So there's a lot of things, definitely correlating. That's
we'll have to see how that ends up going. All right, TNDM is starting to treat me a little bit better, so we have to. We're going to take some profits there, and then we have to send you to the big desk with Sia.
Yeah, Nike here currently down 2.76%, reversed hard after the Supreme Court tariff ruling. And as we know it, reason why, Nike heavily manufactures in Vietnam, China, and Indonesia, 3 countries that are the most impacted by these tariffs, and the initial pop has fading fast. So let's see what the market has to say for us next.
Absolutely right, Sia. There was a lot of names that I'm looking at the charts. They all got that 10 a.m. pop when the Supreme Court released their decision, and whoop, right back down again. So point well taken. You get that algorithmic reaction, and then, you know, the ensuing price action is probably more human input than anything else. But we'll keep tabs on that, guys. I'm still watching TNDM here. We're in at 3s. It's showing me 33s. I'm waiting for the cross. I'm actually posted at 33, but it's not crossing, so I'm not getting the print. Only a couple of prints on this one. Looking for a possible move back into the 2/3. Let's say the $0.50 first. But this one is also suffering from that same affliction that RXT was suffering from, which is, let me close this because it doesn't look as good. Look at that unbroken downtrend there, right? With really no new highs. This is the candle that lured me in, that 1155 candle, right? But it ended up continuing to kind of make a general lower high trend. So what I'm looking for here is a breaking of that trend line in the same way that I was looking for it on RXT on the left side of your screen. So TNDM, I'm involved in this one, looking for a move above, but we're gonna keep the stop tight on this monster over here. A little zen. Looks like, you know, you're not having a great day, brother. I don't mean to call you out, but emotions will cloud judgment. Just take it from me, brother. Take it from me. Let my, you know, bad experiences serve to help you a little bit. It's like, I don't get it. No matter what I do, I'm getting, how did Elf lose everything? You know, take a quick walk, brother. It's easier said than done, obviously, from on my side of the screen, but blow off some steam, come back, and reset on the trading day, because emotions will only cloud your judgment. Keeping an eye here on RXT, it looks like it is finding some support at 2. So if RXT wants to continue putting in the higher lows, and that's a setup we've got right now on the 5-minute chart, every single candle is higher lows ever since the candle at 1145, I should be looking at getting in some. Because, well, I don't have the same amount of shares, obviously, as I did before. So I'd like to weasel in some here. Now, the idea would be that it holds that general 2 area. I think I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and add here for a hold above 2. I'm going to give it to a little bit below 2, okay? Because I don't want to get stop hunted. But generally what I'm looking for is a $2 hold. So that's what we're in. We're doing it live now. We'll see what that one ends up doing. TNDM is gonna drop back down again. I think it's still suffering from that, you know, lower high situation that it's putting in. I think I'm gonna get out of this because, well, here it goes, right back up again. I don't know, I'm gonna give this one a little room. Let's give this one an opportunity, but I may regret this. I can move it up to prior bar low. Prior bar low on TNDM is 24.90. I'm in at 25.03, so that's not too much in terms of risk. I think that that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Let's move it up to prior bar low, and that way it'll help alleviate some of the damage that could ensue if it does lose the bid. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll give it a little room, and we have that many shares. So we've done that. That means I gotta cancel the previous stop. So where's my previous stop? Canceled there. How's RXT doing? All right, good ad so far anyway. Let's see if this one wants to pop off into some levels. We'll take some beak wetters on this bad boy if we can, if it tries to move up back into the day high, which is $2.08. Where do we add? We added at 202s. Okay, not too bad. That fundamentally changes my cost basis from 179 to 196 because I've exhausted a lot of my shares. And again, if it loses 2, I've tried to give it a little room below 2, but if it loses 2, I'm generally out of that one. There's not a whole lot others, a lot of others, excuse me, that are making a move right now in the world of small cap gappers. But as always, guys, if there are ones that I haven't mentioned that are making moves, specifically if they're above the volume weighted average price, if they're above the pre-market high, if they were doing volume in the pre-market, I'd love to know about them. But tag me or Joe in the chat. Let us know what they are, and then we'll cover them and all that good stuff, Joey.
Good stuff, guys. Yeah, nice moves there, Sharif. And a beautiful double top on NVDA, right above that 190 mark, right? So we've been talking about that. You guys brought it up to us. You're like, hey, we got these call walls up here. How are we going to react to them? And for those who have been fortunate enough to take advantage of those moves, then congratulations to you. We'll spin that. We'll hit this one for you because it's been looking pretty good. And now we have a neckline that's starting to be established. We talk about the head. It's a neckline. So if we break through this and the momentum really starts to pick up, maybe we'll see somewhat of a sustained downside move. Again, they only need them to close below that 190 strike. So for wherever we are currently right now, they're clearly good. They're sitting pretty and on some pretty pennies as well too. So watch out for this support level. This was prior resistance. This can act as support level. This is where we had that breakout before, and that's when I got involved on NVDL. We are now on the backside of this trend here on SLV. We'll head back to that because I want to talk about this name a little bit. We were fortunate enough to catch that fill at 74.80s, and then we caught some at 74.90s as well. So now I'm sitting on approximately 10% of my position, just leaving it on. Silver's up 5% here today, but if you wait for a pullback and then the breach of the volume weighted average price on NVDA, there might be a good move there, especially because the market's starting to come back in as well too. We were talking about Open Door not too long ago. And this move has been sustained to the downside. It's a consolidation up here, an additional leg down. You get somewhat of a breath here for 5 minutes, and then it makes an additional leg down. So not too bad of a look. Guys, I know Sean did this morning. I want to get a check-in on everybody. Enough of how we're doing on the day. I want to know how everybody else is doing on the day. So red or green, put it in the chat. Put those emojis, whether they're red or green. We'll get that involved here and see what everyone's doing. And if you have recovered, have you gone from red to green? Have you gone from green to red? I'm curious how on everyone else's day is going. So put that in the chat. Let's see how it is and see what the narrative may be on today's session. The volatility was in, guys. Why are retails taking off? Very red says Hangry Wife. That's okay. Green says Others Inc. love to Taco Supreme, given the green heart. We love that. Go Hockey USA Woman says Lily Love Corbett. All right, good stuff. Thank you very much for that support. And by the way, congratulations on your win. Now, as for Jody with the green heart out there as well, too. Trading Nurse with the 5 green hearts with red. That's fine. Red to red. Red to red says Leonel Martinez. Yeah, it happens. But guess what? Monday's a new day, and it's a full week, so we might see some more activity, especially with what Sharif was saying earlier in the session when we were talking a little bit about Donald and how the market's going to react. If he releases his plan B, then who knows what can happen come Monday morning. There's definitely going to be a little bit more volatility stepping in, and most importantly, we'll see a bit of a move on the TQQs. NVDA typically stays inside that inside downside move. But next week we'll take a look at that when we can get a better of a gauge, and then we'll also take a look at the open interest as well. So other than that, guys, been sitting in this SLV trade. NVDA looking like it wants to break down. Silver's on the backside of that trend. Open door continuing its slide, and now the TQQs south of the volume weighted average price.
Yeah, I'm just reading this Supreme Court decision, Joe. Just if you don't, just hold on for a little bit
absolutely.
More.
So, all right, see, what do you got for us?
Yeah, this just this is not confirmed, but these are reports coming from Tesla investors that cybercabs with no steering wheels were spotted at Tesla's Giga Texas factory today.
Why did it stop me? Oh my goodness.
Okay, so yeah, here it is, guys, right? So 74.50, right? We're starting to come back in. We got that move into 74.90. Thankful that we took the majority of that position off. Now we're just going to look for another opportunity. I mean, what time is it? 12:18. It's not bad. We had the TQQs. I haven't even pulled that trade up here, really, because I've been focusing on silver. But this was definitely our better one on the day. We had a good one on TQQs earlier in the morning with that momentum to the top side. Fortunate enough to catch that volatility spike. And then now you can see we're really starting to pick up the momentum to the downside. So neckline break on NVDA, giving you 50 cents right off the pop.
All right, RXT lost 2 guys, so I stopped out right below 2. It's coming back into that 190 area, though. This is a breakout area. We'll look at that area high at 1035. That was the top. So I'd like to give this one the old college try, so to speak. And, oh, I just did something else there that I didn't want to do. Let's see if we can get some here. I'm going to pick it up here. Let's give it to 86s. That'll be an appropriate amount of risk for me. Okay, so there's a couple reasons why I like this RXT level here, even though it lost 2. So first and foremost, that 190 level, that 193 level, that was the area high at around 1030, 1035. It goes into that 191, rejects, drops all the way down, holds VU up, okay? Secondly, it's also the 10 EMA on the 5, which is basically overlapping with the same area, price action breakout from 1030. So if it holds up there, fantastic. I'm not gonna risk too much on this one. It's gonna be a tight stop. Otherwise, we're not gonna give back. We won't want to give back anything, but you know, you got to take some risks. So let's go ahead and put on some orders here and see if we can kind of nice price spike up, maybe even above 2. 208 area high, but it had a whole lot of trouble staying above 2. Not surprised, at least initially on that. But I need it to hold this general area because I won't DC into an oblivion. So if the buyers are going to step in at that breakout level, I'm going to ride it with them. Otherwise, no thank you, sir. So 193, we're break even on it now, looking for a move into 2. Prior bar low, just to give you an idea, 190. Current bar low, 190 and a half. So there we go, into 95. We're waiting at 95s, but it's got to cross. It's not crossing, so we don't get the print. We'll pack the patience. I also got stopped out again of TNDM. I think I'm going to change the way that I'm looking at trading this. Again, the rule is 3 strikes and you're out. This, I'm 0 for 2 on it. So the way I'm going to trade it from now is it has to break that trend line, that TNDM. The same way that RXT broke the trend line. That's what I'm looking for TNDM to do. If it does that, I'll get in. If it doesn't, I'm not going to get in. I'll stay red on it. So that will be my focus there. Everything else is not setting up properly. RNG is not setting up. FNKO, AXTI, NCI, SATL, BDMD, they're all breaking down. There is no continuity here on any of them. And as I glance at my scanner up top, I'm not seeing any new ones. So we're gonna have to, you know, slow down the trading because there's really nothing. There's nothing moving. For my style of trades anyway, just continuing to look at the scanner over here, just making sure there's nothing new coming in. Very, very, very light volume on a lot of these, or a lot of them are sub 1 million. So not sure what the whole situation is there, but check out mRNA, nice bounce, coiling. Well, it's not a small cap gapper, but of course, Nick's an OG, so we'll cover that for Nick, no problem. Let's go, oh boy. You don't want to look at the weekly on the Moderna chart. Stay away from that, boys and girls.
All right, what's going to happen?
You want to see it, Joey? Do it. Oh boy, it's seen better days, my man. It's seen better days. Let's go and have a look at the intraday. He says it's coiling. Yeah, I like that. Flat top break. Certainly agree with you there. 49.40. There was certainly selling. Looks like that selling's come out now, but it's still negative on the day, but barely. To go green, it's got to get above 49.70. It was above that level initially. Just price spikes though and then drop right back down. Yeah, this is not the move, but it had a great day yesterday, especially in the afternoon. Holy cow, look at that move, man. This thing was up, I think, about 10% yesterday. What a move, and it's had a good couple of days. Look at Moderna, dude. Up day, consolidative, up day, up day. Today, consolidative, not bad. Okay, put that pinky down. My goodness, what's going on there? This guy. All right, man, that pinky tripped me out a little bit, but I'll chuckle at that. So RXT, the only one involved in, guys, looking for a hold of the breakout area. It is the 190-ish area, which is overlapping with the 10 EMA on the 5. If it loses that, I'm going to stop out. Joe.
All right, good stuff there, guys. All right, let's head into the third period here. I got to have a talk with the boys. Maybe if they could get me on the phone there and just say, hey, man, just go out there and do what we got to do in order to win this hockey game. Leave it all out there. And if not, you got to play for the bronze, I think, maybe on Saturday or, tomorrow, I think, would be the bronze medal game. Or maybe another time Sunday morning. But aside from that, guys, open door, continuing to slide a little bit here. Pinkies up, exactly, Escape Planet. So other than that, let's head through our watch list, guys. If there's anything from the options chain that you want to take a look at or curious about, it's like, hey, this is what we got going on. Just feel free to tag me in the chat, and we'll get that rocking and rolling. So we're ready to party and rage on that front. How's Pan W been up to? A nice little bounce there in Pan Dub. Same narrative, man, and I think these are pretty quality setups.
Like, what the hell does tariffs have to do with Pan W? Can someone tell me?
Yeah. Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Look at the intraday, my boy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway,
it's just listen. I remember somebody said this a long time ago to me. Is like Wall Street, they're a bunch of babies, right? Like, so everyone gets all excited. You rip up one way, everyone's like, yeah, party.
Stupid.
And then when the littlest inconvenience happens, sell it all. No, in all seriousness.
No, that's what happens, bro. It's what happens.
But the market literally over-exaggerates in multiple ways. So, I mean, if it's to the top side, it's like there's no way that we should be at these valuations, or we should be continuing to gap up and climb higher. But then it happens in the inverse of that as well too. It's just like, why are we continuously selling? Because if it's a high quality name like Microsoft down almost 30%, you know eventually that is probably going to get bought back up. I'll put my bottom dollar on the fact that, like, hey, from my short experience, from my 5 years of trading, there is zero chance that Microsoft does not eventually reach an all-time high. Zero, right? Do you not agree with me, Katina Man? What's up? Oh, are you on the phone? Oh, he's on the phone. I thought he was talking to me. Like, zero chance. Okay, Joe, can you look at the VKTX options chain longer term? Thank you. Nicked up for sure. I've never even heard of this name, VKTX. But anything
Viking Therapeutics, brother.
Oh, is that it?
You know,
okay, VKTX. Yeah, I know about that. Oh, Katina Man was actually messaging me about this not too long ago. A potential buyout, right? So you think? Yeah. So he was asking me about that. If that's the case, avoid the chain. Okay, there goes. Before we step into that, once again, nicked up, thank you. Neckline break on NVDA, $88.63. You're now down to 187.75. Okay, moving forward, let's get over to VKXT, Viking Therapeutics, and we'll go over to longer dated you were asking about. So how does the middle of summer sound, or late summer? We'll go over to August and see what we got going on. For the at-the-money strike prices, guys, we're going every $2.50 increment. At the money IV is elevated though, guys. Keep that in mind. $775, not too bad. You're going to be hitting that on the ads. The liquidity, big time issue, right? Like, open interest, 155. You're not even seeing any forms of volume. So getting involved with that might be a little bit more difficult. So just be cautious on that. But if it is a potential buyout, also be extremely cautious of that. And if you don't get any appreciation within those contracts anytime soon, then you want to get out. One thing that I will note, Nick W, is that just look out for essentially the at-the-money IV. I think that's a little bit elevated. VKXT. We'll take a look at it, or VXK. What is it again? What am I at?
VKTX.
VKTX.
Yep.
VKTX. We'll take a look at it from why. Yes, this is exactly what I want. Why are you making my life difficult?
Tell me that it's human nature. Why?
Ooh, that's a fire. That's a fire, man. Did you? I'm going to ask a question. I know the answer to it.
It's Dirty Diana.
No, that's not
my
that
bad.
song. No,
my
I was
bad.
gonna ask you is, did you watch the new Michael Jackson documentary?
I didn't.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw it out there. 63%. So yeah, this thing has been on the downside. It doesn't look too good to me right now.
Sorry, Joe. Just give me 1 second. I'm just setting up some orders, bro.
So buying calls on that, right? So you don't want to necessarily go against the grain. You can draw your basic trend lines here, and if it does break, I think that's a good time to engage. We're all out of silver. That worked out for us. NVDA breaking through that 188 mark and continuing to bleed its own blood. So we got to keep an eye out on that one. We're officially starting the third period here, guys. 19 minutes left. Shots 22 Canada, Finland with 11 shots. So we're doubling it, and we're in the ozone. So if we can get any form of a lucky bounce, we're definitely in the offensive zone. So if we get any form of a lucky bounce, I like our chances to take a lead here. But first things first, we got to tie it up there, guys.
Oh man, NCI just fell off a cliff. I should have been looking for shorts on this one. Look at that straddle on the volume weighted average price from the sell side, and then it really, really does drop. So a big move down here for NCI. It is really heading down quite aggressively. That's the kind of thing that I need to be looking more for, right guys? This is what we talked about yesterday with these small cap gappers. When we're looking to short, we're looking for the loss of VWAP and then a retracement attempt to clear VWAP and then drop back down. Is this thing halted? It's not showing up on my scanner as halted, but then again, I don't have it on. NCI, I don't know why I didn't have that NCI on. It is not halted. It is halted. It is? No, it's not halted. It's not halted, yeah. It's just sitting there at 521 for whatever reason, but yeah, whatever. There goes ABTS. Finally, we catch some dubs. The breakout is on right now. This could be a move above 4, so watch out here. A reclaiming of VWAP and a nice price spike up. We got 89s on. Let's go ahead and take out some mid-teens if it was to make it up there. Looking for the move into 20s as well, but it's got to decisively clear that $4 area. But it is a very, very pronounced, let's call it that, rounded bottom. Look at this big smile if you're there, my man. I know your affinity for these rounded bottoms. Ooh. No, but there it goes. Let's see if it holds above 4. What I gave it was, I gave it to current bar, well, prior bar low, because that's where I was in the prior bar, showing 405 now. Let's see if we can make a move back up, take out some orders, but we are not decisively above $4, so I am concerned. Even if we're above the volume weighted average price, that $4 psychological resistance area continues to put a damper on the long party. I'm also still holding here RXT, break even on this one, looking for a hold of this general area. It looks like it's consolidating at this technical area of prior resistance, now support. I'm talking, of course, about that 190 area. I'm not buoyed by the fact, though, that we're getting topping tail candles into 195. I am buoyed, though, by the higher lows. So let's see how this one ends up doing. We're keeping a tight stop. High 80s is my stop. We're in at 93, so not too much risk on this one. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, man. We're looking for ABTS to decisively clear 4. We'll look to get in a little bit more here. I think I added a couple of times on ABTS. Nope, I didn't get that DCA, so that one didn't come in. So I'll be looking to get a little bit more here at around $4, where I'm in at 89. So let's go ahead and add here. Looking for a move, though, into 4. I will continue to give it to prior bar low, though. So prior bar low is well south of where we are, 69. Let's see if it holds up at this general area, Joey.
Good look there, guys. All right, time's a ticking here. Nice bounce there on NVDA, indecision print right at some key support levels. You're coming to retest this backside of the trend here on SLV, and then you're getting a little bit of a bounce here in the market, but this breath doesn't look like it's going to be sustained. Maybe that's all it is, and then we can continue our trajectory to the downside. I'm not in anything right now, but if NVDA continues to bounce, then maybe we'll see a little bit of a sustained move here. Once again, you only need to keep it south of 190. And that's the thing. That's the thing of beauty is that you can just hide within all that open interest. How much are we collecting at this point here today? I don't think it's going to be very much, to be honest with you. Let's see what we got going on at this point, okay? We're going to head back, man. We're going over the options chain here. It's Friday as well. I mean, we could be playing.
Got no job. There goes ABTS in taking out prior bar high, Joey. We're doing it live. We just added into ABTS here, but there's a whole lot of bag holders from prior action that we need to be concerned about, man, because they were on volume 2. I'm talking about 1020. There it goes into the quarter dollar. It's taking out all my orders. The breakout is on right now on ABTS. It's up 111%. Let's wet the beak here. Now we're going to post in the high 30s. We're posting in the low 40s as well. Let's see if we can get a nice price spike up. Unreal what RXT did, though. It just went up and then went back down. I needn't concern myself about that. What just happened there with ABTS? How did I exhaust all my shares so quickly? Oh, because that DCA went unfilled. I was under the impression that I had that. Okay, so we're going to have to find some way to get back into ABTS here because we exhausted all the shares. I had it 3 times. How did I finish them so quickly? All right, looking. Let's see if that $4 area comes in again. We've got a great setup right now on ABTS. Higher lows, essentially, since I want to say the candle here at 1155. So you're looking for a possible Joey's losing it over there, bro. The Canada game. All right, I'm looking for 4s to come in generally here. Let's see if we can get something closer to the 4 single digits. But it's looking like it's moving back into that quarter dollar. The breakout's on, Joe. I'm going to have to add. So there we go. Take over, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
So I was just looking at the value of this specific contract here. So this is December. This is a 4 hour. So we want to head over to something from an intraday standpoint and see how we've been looking at so far. And this is today. I just want a 5-minute time frame. Let's not make this overly complex. And I think if you just disguise yourself, you can see that this contract didn't even gain the value. Once you double topped around $95 there, it came right back in. You're starting to see a little bit of a bounce. But just south of this, so if you can just mask yourself in disguise, I think this would be a good opportunity for a bear call, in my opinion, right? Like, if it breaks higher and it happens to breach through this high, you know essentially what you're going to lose on this. So the value of that contract at the breach of this is going to be, like, the reason why I'm saying is like, hey, Joe, you're essentially only making like 20-something bucks because you would have to spread this, and if you don't have the ability to write it naked. So essentially what you would have here is 26 bucks, but you can just buy one of these contracts for $1, and essentially you're collecting 24, and then you can be proven wrong at, unfortunately, a negative 3 to 1, but the probability of profit within that setup is going to be substantial. It's going to be the inverse of that, probably around 75%, considering, like, look at our delta. It's 80% roughly that these contracts are going to expire out of the money. You're not going to make anything writing this. You would have to write a boatload of them, and the premium you're collecting, you're going to lose just in fees. Unless you're writing a substantial amount, there you're really masked. But I don't think that's necessarily the right play. So I like what we got going on. This number's being sustained, 126,000. It's not growing. It's not going to grow. Right, 295, and as you head closer to the expiration time of 4 p.m. or 4:15, you're gonna probably see that really. You might see it stay how it is, but you might see some slow covering.
Joe, I gotta interrupt.
Go ahead.
ABTS is taking out highs. It just got into the day high of 480. Here we go again. Wow, we got into 5. Move, boy. Let's go. We're gonna halt up into 410. We're long at 419. This could be a false halt now. Watch for the drop. It has to be at this way in 10 seconds, for 10 seconds. Here we go, ABTS, 3, 2, 1. It's halted. Yes, finally, bro, what a red-ass day this has been for me. So finally, we get some moves up here on ABTS. What a move. Look at this, bro. Look at that, bro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a really nice
right
move.
there, Joey. So that 509 halt, guys, sorry to interrupt you, bro.
No. Yeah. Feel free, man. I got my eyes on a couple of things. Okay, yeah, so guys, in approximately 10 minutes, we're going to stream Donald Trump's meeting and his decision here.
Yes, sir.
So we'll take a look at that. We're going to have some fun with it as well, too. We're obviously curious on what he has to say and who he's going to blame and what else he's got going on. So looking forward to that, guys. Just going back, now we're $22, now we're 20. So this was the breadth that I was talking about not too long ago. So we have that move. We reject the volume-weighted average price once again, and then now we're starting to slowly come back in. The seller's stepping right back back in here on the exact same name. Let's head back over to Open Door and see if we're continuing to bleed here. On today's session, yeah, so it's been a steady all-day fader. We're retesting the backside of this trend on silver. If it happens to open up on a 5-minute, happens to open up on the opposite side, on the front end here, then sure enough, maybe you get a little bit of a continuation today. But what I was seeing from a daily perspective, I was like, I don't know if we're necessarily in breakout territory. Nice, strong green candle, but if you don't want to go against the grain and expect like a full capitulatory move here, I think at some point we will head back towards the low, 72.40, and there goes Open Door, a new low, and then we're right back towards this key pivot on NVDA. So I think that the market might slightly bleed here for the remainder of the session. We still have almost more than 3 hours, 3.5 hours, a little bit less than that, and the Team Canada only has 12 minutes. So I would, so at the end of the day, a lot going on. Time in one hand, no time in the other. Because Joe Biden. Let's see what else the chat is up to here, Sharif. How's your trade going on that one? Are you all out of that previous
No,
one?
we're still
You're
holding,
in the
brother.
halt?
Yeah,
okay. What's the tap? Do you have a tap on that?
Yeah, great question. The tap is, that was our RXT. We're still taking that one long. It's showing 505s now, Joey, so it's a little bit below the halt price. 509 is the halt price. So here it is, guys, 1236.38. The earliest will be open is 1241.38. It comes in waves of 5. But I want to get back into TNDM here. This is my largest loser on the day, far and away, but it is breaking trend, so your boy's gonna get involved, and we're gonna freaking do it live on this one. Here we go. Let's set up here. It's breaking trend. It's making some higher highs. We'll get caught offside if that ends up being the case, but I'm gonna take my shot at it. Because I was waiting for this one to break trend, and to me, it's breaking trend, so I want to take this one right back up to the top. It's a 25.65 high of day. We added shares. Let's see what we do. This is by far my more negative name, BDMD, second worst off in the day. What's my move, though, below this? Prior bar low. Prior bar low takes me to 24.93. We go 24.88s out, and we're going to do it live, hopefully, on that. We'll see how that one ends up doing. What's my cost basis? 20, showing me 32s, looking for the move. It's showing 27s now. The spread has been annoying all day, but we're gonna have to deal with the spread. So that's the situation that I find myself in. But I do like the trend break right now. It's just a matter of whether or not it continues and weasels back up into that 24.65. Separately, our RXT looks like it's rejecting with a doji candle that just closed at 12.35. That's my out there. I don't want to deal with this one and have to deal with ABTS and TNDM at the same time. So waiting here. Let's see exactly what time it is so we can kind of compare the time. 12:40:32. So we have about a minute from the halt time to when ABTS open. So the earliest I got, as I mentioned, 12:41:38. So I have about a minute until then. Shout out to my man Nick. Sharif, check out the nice move on KMI, red to green in oil, my man. Bring it over. Just give me a sec. KMI, not one that I know. Kinder Morgan, I do know. I just never trade it. All right, not bad at all, brother. Yeah, this one definitely went red, 32.30. Now it's back up 32.57. Not too bad of a look. You know, not a name that I typically trade or know much about. But let's go daily. What do we got here? Oh, wow. Kinder Morgan's on a breakout, man. Did you see that? It took out area highs here at 31.50. Shout out to Nick, man. This is a good looker here. Not one that I've been following for a while, but thank you for pointing it out here. Waiting for this one to open up. Let's see what time it is. We have about 5 seconds. Let's see. The tap's showing 493. There it is. It's dropping. It's dropping. Let's see if it pops up above 5. I don't have any prints above 5. Or do I do? I do. Just one. I'm putting 505. Let's see. It just popped up again into that level, but rejected. I've got 419s on, so you rest assured I'm not allowed this to go against me. But I want to see if we can get above 5. And what the beak here, take some profits, but it's continuing to drop. Yeah, into 50s. There's no bid stepping in. Let's see, back up into 70s it goes, 80s it goes. Looking for the move above 5. Try not to paper hand this trade. Looking for the move. Yeah, I'm looking at the bid as well, guys. What I'm specifically looking for are large orders at a specific price level to kind of backstop the bleeding on the downtrend here. So ABTS not continuing after the halt. Let's take another wet beak wetter there. Let's see if we can kind of move into that area high. Looks like there is a selling here at the $0.75 Assassino. There's 80s. Can we see some 90s here? We popped up back into the mid 80s, low 80s. There is 90 momentarily. There's 91. Looking for the move above 5. Not readily apparent whether it's going to be able to take out 5. Moreover, I haven't seen what the size waiting around that $5 looks like, right? So right back into 60s we go. We're going to pause for a second. We got to send it to Sia at the big desk. All right. Go ahead, Assassino. Oh. I was going to hold down. I had to. Oh, go ahead.
All right, we're back. There we go.
So sorry about that, guys. So sorry. Just quickly here, a report on Google is Google said that it's in talks to invest about $100 million in NeoCloud FluidStack. So FluidStack is a startup cloud computing company, and it basically says, which is that it has backed projects that are tied to Hut 8, Cypher Mining, and TeraWolf to drive TPU demand. And this basically will be a competition to NVIDIA.
All right. I flattened out on ABTS because it was bleeding its own blood, but we make money on the last remaining amount. Let's see if this sets up a little bit better. Let me give you the levels on this. 405, 10 EMA. A little bit below 396. I haven't had a look at what limit down is. It hasn't flashed on my screen quite yet. If it drops a little bit more, I'll be able to give you limit down, but currently I have no idea. Joey, what do you got?
Good look there, guys. All right, so I'm still looking at the market. You can see that I got the same couple of names on my radar. We'll go over what we were trading here earlier in the day. So, I mean, TQQs was definitely our better trade. And then we had a nice little ad on SLV. So this was our TQQs, part of that volatility. It did climb a little bit higher, which we didn't get to participate in, but that's totally fine. A continuous double top, identical price actions in what you got in the highest market capitalization name. Now, moving forward over to SLV. And see what we have. Now we're starting to hold. Now we're starting to hold this trend. It's holding up. Now are you going to breach that $75 mark? What is the tape telling us? We're right back up to 74.90s almost, and you can see some consecutive green. We're not getting too much weakness here on the tape on SL.
There it is, boy. 2-2.
Yes,
there it is.
Man.
There it is, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest,
from the
man.
point, huh?
I'm not even.
That was a good
trading,
shot from
bro.
the point, bro. What are you saying,
Listen,
man?
I have my 3 trades on here today. Now we're just watching this hockey game. Listen, it happens only every 4 years. The NHL hasn't been in a hot minute. So let's go. The momentum is now on our side. The shots are 31-14. Get that garbage out of here.
Oh,
that's Jack
tell him,
Armstrong.
Joey.
I gotta see this replay. Where are we gonna get this blast from? Bang from the past. Who was that? Who's our boy?
I don't know.
Jose that was Theodore there. Bang. Let's go. All right. So good luck there, Sharif. It sounds like you got a bang accumulating over there as well too. I know you, man. So whenever you get ready,
wants to watch the game. He's such a snake. I love it. I love this guy, bro.
At the end of the day, there we go. New HOD 5.5. Hey, I was looking at this here this morning. Your boy sliding multiple slots here in the race, but we got the asterisks on our boy Mateo. I don't know why. We got to ask Katina Man about that one there. Shea Theodore. Fabian was doing that one. Fabian's doing that one.
Okay.
So your boy, no, it's done. This thing is done. No, it's over now. None of it is legit. I didn't care. Anyways, Obie is eliminated for some reason. Ramin's on the brink of elimination as well too. So there's 2 people out of the 12 on the brink of elimination. Chat, I don't know what you guys are up to, down 14 3/4. Great picks there, BBAI and NVDA. No, I'm obviously being highly sarcastic. But Joe, your boy Joe going from 3rd to 7th, but Sharif hanging around the top 5 there, so not too bad of a look. We still haven't got Sia's picks in. Katina Man hanging in that 11th spot. So that's hot fire. They're all hot fire. So I mean, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time left, man. What's hot fire right now is Team Canada tying it up right now with 8 minutes left in the game. A good look on that front. Also, one in the 1500 meter, I think it was short track. We collect a bronze. So how's that one there? And I'm gonna throw this out here. I'm feeling it here today. Everybody's poking. You go over social media, Sharif.
Yep.
everybody's dunking on Team Canada.
The dunking.
Right, because we lost in the goal in the game.
Yeah.
But you guys have 10 times the amount of people that we do. The fact that you're competing with us, what does that say? What does that say? If anything, you should be worried about China or Norway, a smaller country that's leading the way, and you guys aren't beating them. You guys, come on, man. What kind of garbage is that? We're going to get this gold here. We're going to take this W. Courtney Sarol, she's one of the hottest in the way Olympians at the Olympics for Canada right now. Multiple golds, 3 of them. I think we have a good chance to win this game. Aside from that, let's get back into these markets. Let's see if silver is going to turn around here.
My man. All right. Okay, Joey Ops, he came with a hot take there,
You guys.
right? But to be honest with you, I mean, we could say the same thing about Canada.
What?
Why is Italy and Norway well ahead of us in the metals? Italy, half of it is tropical, bro.
Yeah.
You ever see the south of Italy?
No.
Well, it's very, very Mediterranean, right? Like, why are they killing us in the Winter Olympic Games?
I think it's rigged. It's rigged.
Extreme athletes, says the Katina man.
No,
A little bit of a bias.
Italians are good athletes. Didn't that one guy almost win the 100-meter?
Look at Italy's sprinters.
Yeah,
Italy
exactly. Look at the
sprinters, they're good.
sprinters. Look at the sprinters, my boy. No, I think Italy. But see, the thing is, though, we know the Italians are they cheat a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? So
I'm not saying that. I'm staying away from that right
listen,
there.
My boy
guy.
is Italian. One of my best friends of all time. There isn't an event where he isn't trying to cheat his way into a victory. So I'm giving that narrative. So there might be a little something.
Wow.
It's home court advantage as well.
Yeah,
too.
Joey's coming in hot with that, bro. All right, Katina Man's Law on Google, guys. Italy has won 4 World Cups, too. Yes, I know, by the stars on their shirt. I do realize that. When's the last time they won? Do you know? Don't check, Los Polos. I can tell you right now, 2006. Is when they won the Olympics last. What do we got?
We had the game on. We got everything.
Oh, that would have been great if we. So President Trump, he's starting quite soon. He was supposed to be 12:45. So there you go, right behind us there. Shout out to Fabian, and there's Sia behind us as well. We're gonna put President Trump there. Obviously, he likely will be addressing the L he caught today in the Supreme Court, 6-3 decision against his tariffs. Saying basically he didn't have the power under the IEA, or whatever, I forget the name of the statute, Emergency Economic Act, whatever. Find out the name in a second. He didn't have the power under that, and that he had to either go through Congress. He said, of course, he's going to come at this a different way. He's been making that point, I think, for quite some time, saying that there was a plan B and that they would come at the tariffs from a different way. So I'm assuming he may speak about that now. This may be market moving in some way, negatively, especially if he articulates a specific avenue that the market looks as feasible to reinstate his tariffs. So get ready for some volatility either way, right? So let's be ready for that. My man, Big Spile Burdett. Sounds like, to me, LJS has been getting smoked in Olympic gambling. So much passion can only be from money loss. I don't know. You haven't told me anything about putting on
I haven't
bets,
placed any bets, no.
I don't know. I don't think so, Big Spile. He would have told me about that, and I would have outed him. But no, I wouldn't have. But I would have told you if he was. I don't know, man. I figured we'd probably do a little bit better, especially relative to. Some other countries that we'd be meddling a little bit more.
I have my theories on that.
I'm proud of Canada, obviously. ABTS is making a move back up, guys. It held the 10 EMA like a glove, and here it goes again. Here comes 490. ABTS is on the move. It's on the move to the high side. Be careful, though. 490 area high. That's the current candle high. What's up, Katina, man? Oh, you're watching the game? Yeah. He's ahead. He's like 1 second ahead of me as well. Yeah. So there we go, guys.
Oh my God! This is where this is my opinion on it.
Okay, hold on, Joey. Hold on, because there's moves happening right now. What's up? Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where I stand.
No, but I was telling Brendo this morning. Remember under Prime Minister Harper?
Yeah.
We had that Own the Podium initiative where they were getting all sorts of donations from the private sector, mixing it in with the public sector, giving athletes like these facilities to train and stuff like that. And I think we were quite successful with that Own the Podium initiative. But
I think so. But now we got to make sure
dropping
everyone's
off a little
included.
bit.
So.
Well, you know, I'm proud of the Canadian athletes no matter what. It goes without saying. But
you know what it takes to be an Olympian? Like you're a fraction of a percenter, right? Like,
absolutely,
right? So
especially the medal too.
There.
Forget about the people just getting to the Olympics, but people who are medaling.
Pops, you want to know what the notebook is for? It's for writing things down, brother.
He's coming in hard there, Joey.
No, I'm being serious.
Yeah. All right, here we go, Joey. TNDM that. If it doesn't break up, here we go. It's taking out my orders. I'm looking for the $0.5 to clear. Above the $0.5 is the high of the day of 2/3. It's a 25.65 high a day. Get it, Katina Man. So we're waiting for that. What's going on over there? The Katina Man is long Google at 314. It's at 316. So you know somebody's $2 in the money. Watching TNDM. There's the $0.5. There's the print at the $0.5. Let's see if it can clear that $0.5 and get up into 25.65. We put on shares on this one as well. So let's go ahead and take some out over here. We're going to look to wet the beak, but I want to hold the majority of the position into the high because I am negative on this name, so I got to make it back up. I like the chart pattern. I was too gung-ho with the entry, and now it's taking it out. There's 50. Looking for the continuation now, above 50. Let's see if the sellers step in at the $0.5. The spread is also tightening up substantially. It's 5 pennies now. It was like 15, 20 before that. So be on the lookout, guys. I'm looking at ABTS. I'm looking at RXT. They're still holding up in addition to TNDM, Joey.
All right, good stuff, guys. Silver new high of the day, now up 6% on the session. So a nice move there in silver. It held that trend. Even though we did break it, we're heading right back to the top side of it. So a good look there, guys, and you're starting to see the market find somewhat of a rebound. I'm going to be looking for any form of indecision prints here on NVDA to see if we're going to curl things around, and then maybe we start to head a little bit lower. I know Katina Man said he was long Google. Let's take a look at Goggles. So I'm pretty sure it was one of the stronger names here today. Bang, what's the average price there, Katina Man, on Google? 314.30, right where I have that mark, so a good support level hold there, and then now you grab 50 cents as quick as you would like there, as Sharif would typically say, and I think at this pace, you're going to get a breach of the high of the day into 316.60, so a good look there on Katina Man, especially if the overall market and the big boys want to participate on this recovery rally. Let's see what we got going on that front. Aside from that, guys, Micron breakout, we like that. MU, let's see what Trump is up to. Is he talking yet?
Not yet. Fabian, take off that closed captioning if you can. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
He's not talking yet, no.
Yeah, I know, but we want to be able to see the picture.
Yeah, let's see. I think at this pace, too, with Micron, you might get a breach of that 428 mark and then head towards that high of the day. The volatility is most definitely in, and you heard our thesis here on NVIDIA. I think it might take a little bit longer for us to curl back around, but I think that might be the case for the longs. Oh, there it is, bang, and we're starting to come right back in. So be cautious of this one, guys, and a retest to the backside of this trend right there on SLV Street.
It's so annoying with TNDM. It's not clearing the $0.5 yet, and the spread is opening up substantially again. So a little frustrating there. I was looking for the continuation into the $0.5, but in any event, I want to point out, guys, RXT is doing the same thing that we've seen it do before. Look at this, prolonged downtrend, move up, prolonged downtrend. I'm going to be looking for the exact same thing I was looking at before. A very clear break of that downtrend. If it's done it twice, maybe, just maybe, it'll do it again. RXT is the one I'm talking about. We were articulating how, I kind of felt that this was a clean setup, an A+ setup where you have a big move up on the day, a long area of consolidation where it doesn't break trend, and then you get a clean, decisive break of trend. I'm talking about that candle right there on the 5 at 1150. So let's see how this one ends up doing. But I'm quite interested, Joey, in getting back into RXT, so long as, of course, it does break that trend quite decisively. I'm also keeping an eye on ABTS, but this one feels like maybe, the shorts are back in play. It's a 509 high. I'm looking to see whether or not this one can start printing new highs. It bamboozled everybody and their mother with that 1250 candle that got above the 1245 candle, only, of course, to now have a lower high and possibly a lower low coming at this 1255 candle. So those are the three that I'm really trying to focus on at the moment. TNDM back into the $0.5. I'm looking for a decisive clearing of said $0.5, but the shorts have been basically eyeing this $0.5 here as as an important area for them to short, or the profit takers are taking it into the $0.5. It is a 25.65 high. I'm going to pack the patience here and try to take this into that 2/3 of a dollar, if not more, right? And we did add into this one, so if it does make a breakout here, it will likely be quite good. But that's all undecided and ifs. And I'm not trying to take out any more here. So I've been trying to pack the patience. See ya.
Just real quickly here, before the live announcement from the New York Times saying Trump is considering new across-the-board tariffs on partners, and he also plans to invoke new trade authorities after ruling.
That's exactly, Sia, what we expected. President Trump had made that very clear, I think, for a long time, as the market had been pricing in, Joey, the fact that he was likely going to lose. You and I did it live yesterday with Polymarket and Kalshi.
Yeah.
And we saw that, he only had the market was only giving him a 25% chance of success.
Yeah.
He comes in today. He gets the decision against him, so I think that he was ready for that. Guys, RXT is breaking trend. This could be the move here. Let's see if it gets above 2. If it gets above 2, this could be the move. It's broken the trend line quite decisively. The only thing standing in its way now are possible short sellers at that $2 area. Moreover, it's still not above that doji candle at 1235, the high of which is 198, and that's exactly where we're rejecting right now. So the short seller on the 1235 candle, rearing his ugly head again into this now current, I want to say, what time are we? 1255 candle, and again, we reject 98. Be on the lookout for the 98 rejection. It's broken trend, but I personally would be waiting for that $2 break and take. But we have to go back up to C at the big desk.
Just really quick here, Tesla is down 0.5% right now. This news just coming out has lost the bid to toss $243 million verdict in a fatal autopilot crash suit, and a federal judge in Miami has denied Tesla's bid to overturn a $243 million jury verdict in a lawsuit over a fatal autopilot crash. And the suit focused on a 2019 collision that killed a 22-year-old woman, Naibo Benavides, and severely injured her boyfriend.
Yeah, that's never obviously a good thing, and we obviously never want to hear that. All right, guys, RXT in the 2. Here we are. It's taking out that prior area high. I'm talking about the 1235 candle. So that 198 seller, he's been removed now. Now we've broken the downtrend. We've broken the prior area high. Only thing standing in our way, I think, is 2. It's a 208 high. I'm going to be looking at getting long here again on RXT if it wants to do it live. Joey, we're packing the patience. We're going to look for a $2 break.
All right, so yeah, Street brought up Polymarket here. So I wanted to take a look. That's not our side exactly right. So will the court force Trump to refund his tariffs? 28% chance to the no here, guys. BTC up in the next 5 minutes or so. 51% saying that we are going to go up, and a lot of interesting stuff here. That one here. Anyways, Fed decision in March. 50. Ooh. I think this one's really important. Fed decision, 50 basis points. We only got 1% yes right now. 25 bips decrease. Not looking too good either. So we'll keep an eye out on that. S&P there. And then what will the price of Bitcoin hit in February? Ooh, I think no on this one. I don't think we drop another 10K by the end of the month. But once again, anything can happen. So there's Polymarket. Taking a look at that one there, guys. So as for the overall, we've seen that pullback, right? And then now we're starting to slowly recover. You've seen a little bit of a slide there on Micron. Now heading back towards this key resistance zone, slowly going to breach it here momentarily. And then now we're climbing higher right through this key pivot and this neckline here on NVDA. Silver still hovering around the high of the day, 74.96, with a high of around $75. And then a nice recovery on the TQQs. A nice pop, man. Let's see if we close. Let's see if we close below this 190 mark, because if so, you might see that roll over into next week. And what is next week? Obviously on Wednesday, the earnings report there. Let's head back to our scanner. If there's any specific that you guys want to go over, please let me know, and I'll be happy to do so. We'll take a look at our scanner here and see what we have going on from a top volume standpoint. NVDA 107, TQQs 86.5 million. So once again, NVDA being the leader of the volume by time, that is volume by time on some of these mega cap names. Okay, so silver up to 53.1 million. Yeah, that was crazy.
That could have ended the match.
high stake blood. If there's blood, 5 minutes, baby.
So the Supreme Court was eerily silent about what the refund process is going to be. They didn't issue an opinion on the refund process, and legal experts are already coming out and saying this could be super messy and could take years in legal wranglings to actually get refund checks sent back. So it's going to be super interesting to see that Supreme Court remanded, sent back the case to the U.S. Court of International Trade. This means the CIT, which is a specialized court in New York City, has the job of figuring out the remedy. So they forewent basically ruling on the remedy, and they just ruled on the legality of the, or illegality in this case, of the tariffs. But with respect to the actual, fix, which is the remedy, it's going to be sent back to the lower court, and it has to be decided there. RXT is breaking out. It's taken out to, here we go. We're adding into this one. Let's see if we can take out 208 high, Joey. This is a nice move here. We're going to look for generally the current bar to hold. It is a 196.5 area low. Let's go ahead and wait. Right, just a little bit below that right now. We're going to look for continuation. It's broken trend. It should, well, you never really know how these ones are going to work, but it should be heading up here at least to test the high of the day, which is 208. So I'm setting up some orders here in anticipation of that. So I'm going to do it live. We'll see if we can take out some levels here on RXT, putting those bad boys, those orders there, Joey, getting ready for a possible move back up and knowing full well we could sell off and it could take out my the current bar low, and that's kind of what I'm looking at now. What do you got?
All right, cool, good stuff. Absolutely fluffy, Hippo. Anything for you?
Fluffsters.
We're gonna take a look at Redwire here and see what we got going on. You can see from an intraday standpoint, really starting to slide. Did we have a report yesterday what was going on? Because the volatility in this name has drastically increased. As I take a look at the options chain for you, maybe it's just due to the selling. We'll head over to a higher time frame and see what we got going on from a larger perspective. And sure enough, 26 all the way down to 43. I think this downtrend is still fully intact here, guys. So we'll keep that in mind. But let's head over to the options chain. And the first thing that really stands out to me is this. RDW, right? 193.4% at the Money Ivy. So there's a drastic increase, and that's going to be expiring today. So there it is, February 27th. We want to go a little bit further out to see if there's some more activity. Nothing crazy going on, but I mean, from a relative standpoint, you do see that activity volume relatively cool as well. So you're going to run into some liquidity issues. But if we head back to today, I think this is where, okay, that $12 mark, so that's $4. Where did we open up on today's session? 871. So, I mean, there is some downward pressure in this, so we want to keep that in mind. Yes, there we go. Let's go. All right, 3-2. With 35 seconds left, 3-2 Canada. Beautiful stuff out of boy Nate McKinnon. Done just like that. Anyways, still some time, guys. Right back to Redwire and seeing what we got. That $12 mark is where we're going to have the most amount of exposure right there. So those are probably going to expire worthless. You can see at this point they're worth absolutely nothing. Okay? So moving forward, let's take a look at some other names and see what we got going on. You're going to see a smile on this kid's face for the rest of the day and be looking forward to. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Anyways, so 3 trades, 3 names today. We had 2. The only one that we didn't trade, and I was thinking short on Open Door. We would have had to order those, but Silver opened in the TQQs. We traded all of them except for one, and we took a little scalp on NVDA. So it's been a pretty successful Friday, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. Okay, we talked about not too long ago, looking at some things. And we were just on a little bit of a pullback, just considering from. Honestly, what I want to put. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. We did. Yeah, but they're challenging. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll get back to this here. We had a pretty good start to the month. Things cooled off, but then we're going to get right back into some positive territory leading into the weekend, and hopefully we can relay that back into Monday morning. And then there's going to be some opportunities come Wednesday and Thursday leading into NVDA report and after it as well. So we'll see some more volatility step into the market on that front. But Redwire, nothing we can really talk about other than that $12 strike price. And from a daily perspective, the downtrend still seems fully intact, all right? So we'll keep in mind our eyes on that one and maybe take that into consideration there, Fluff. But yeah, Fluffsters, market rebound. I think this pullback, we're just waiting. I don't know what it is. The volume is really cool. You can see on the LTFs, the lower time frames, that it's not really strong or anything. And then when the selling pressure steps back in, it's more aggressive. Oh my
He's
God.
offside, right? He's offside by like a hair, man. And his stick is offside, right? He's out of the zone. That's crazy. Yeah, well, that's kind of the way it is, man. You want some of that? Watch soccer, bro, where you're offside by a freaking hair, and now they're using radar.
Yeah, I've seen that one,
man. Started, man.
Crazy.
He started. There goes
TNDM,
bro. What?
It might be good.
Okay, I'm obviously rooting for Canada, goes without question. Right back into the high of the day. We have 20s on. It's showing me 63s now. 65 is the high. We have a bunch of orders that still have gone unprinted. I'm biased towards a high of day break. Well, what's my next profit taker? 63, which hasn't printed. 70 as well. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit higher, and then we'll put some at 88s. I'm not a bias that this might hit here into 26. There's 65 now showing up. That's the high of the day. Spread is tightening up. Looking for a clearing of that high of the day. We're not getting it though, but that is the high of the day that we're at right now. Let's see if we can take out this level. I got stopped out, by the way, guys, of RXT. It didn't continue. There it goes into a new high of day. There is 70. Nice. 75. Go. Let's go. Come on. Let's take this out. 75 we go. We're heavily in the money now. Let's take this out a little bit here. Looking for a move into 88s. That's my next print there. So 77 and then 88s here. Next print on TNDM. Up about 38%. We're very negative on this. But I added once that trend line broke. I've learned a very, very good lesson from this one today that I won't soon forget, Joey. So packing the patience here. Looking for a little bit more. What do you got? Is it good? Is the goal good?
Yeah, it's good.
The goal is good.
It's good. Yeah, okay, all right, man. We can breathe a little bit, man.
No way, bro. That's
crazy,
fantastic.
This is crazy, man.
You saw that, Katina, man?
That was very close.
Oh, baby.
Russ, buddy, it was good. Yeah, it was good. My boy
Russ is sweating,
our boy
man.
Russ, a big Leafs fan as well, too. We got. Yeah. Wait, Macklin, he's in it. Our boy Russ, a big Leafs fan here. Maybe we'll get his picks and throw them into our pool as well too. His top 3 stock names, considering. But aside from that, I'm a troll. Hey, the biggest.
What?
Oh, you didn't hear what I said.
I didn't.
All right. Cool.
You were chirping Russ?
No, I would never chirp Russ.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure. Yeah, all right, come on, man.
I like to chirp Russ. He's a good sport.
Yeah, he's a good sport. He's a good sport about it, that's for sure. Good.
Hockey boys, aren't they always chirping each other?
Oh, it doesn't
part
stop,
and parcel
man.
of being hockey, right?
It doesn't stop. So we got a couple of seconds left here until this game's over. Big 3 unanswered goals here from Team Canada. I had the 3-1 victory, but it turned out to be maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, a 3-2. But aside from that, guys, we're having a good time on Friday. I'm not going to be putting on very many shares. Are we starting the news?
Yeah, but I want this trade to resolve here,
okay.
bro. We're going to start the news. There's plenty to talk about. I'm also worried that we're going to get interrupted by President Trump. It's very important what he has to say. So Sia's, she's locked and loaded on the big desk. There it is, zooming in on the podium.
I'm not that locked and loaded.
I think he's going to be quite upset. I think, and probably a little bit more rebellious than he typically is. Let's just be honest about it, right? He doesn't like to be told no.
I love it when he was in Davos. He's like, I'm here with a lot of friends and some enemies.
Yeah.
It's like, bro.
Right. Look, we're gonna see what President Trump has to say. It's again, guys, widely expected that he will say something to the effect of, "We're continuing with this. We're gonna come at it a different way." I think that's what the market expects. That's what I expect. But what specific laws he articulates, I think, will probably be important, because then all the legal experts and analysts are gonna start, digging deep into those laws, seeing how they were applied in the past, whether they can actually be used for his purposes. So that's kind of what I wanted to hear there. I'm continuing to watch TNDM making another high of day. It is up into 75. I've made a lot of what I lost back. Ideally, you don't end up losing them to begin with, and you can actually take all this profit, but it was a mistake by me of adding too aggressively into this when it was putting in a downtrend, but the downtrend has since broken. And we're doing it live. Here comes another high day. 77s now possibly showing up with a spread tightening up from 73 to 77. So looking for a move back up here. on this one. It's a much slower mover, as you can probably tell, into the area high. I think we have, it's over, right? Yeah. Game's over. We won?
No,
so
man, no. They're gonna put a fraction back on.
They're gonna put a fraction back on. Yeah. So we're close here.
What a quick whistle that was.
Yeah. Who do we play? So I saw it's U.S. and Slovakia.
Yeah, the winner of that game.
And when that goes later today, right?
3:10.
3:10. So that's going to be interesting. Shout out to my American viewers in there. It's going to be very interesting to see if you guys beat Czech or Slovakia. It'll be Canada versus USA again in the final. You guys took us out in the women's game yesterday. Maybe we'll take you guys out in the men game. There goes TNDM again. Joseph takes out 77s. Now it's a 78 penny high a day, showing 79. There's 80. I'm waiting at 88s. Let's see if we can make more back on this monster. TNDM up 40%.
All right, man. I was going to see if you could give me another 1.3 seconds there, my boy.
My bad, man. My bad. I'll talk.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, you should be able to just smother this puck and end this game here. So a big comeback from the boys. I said it's going to be extremely difficult to come back down twice when you're down twice and come back and win those games on both ends. So Nate McKinnon being an absolute stud, the best player in the NHL right now. Nate McKinnon, there it is. Bang, we're off to a gold medal game. Now we can focus a little bit. Let's go. Out of here. So guaranteed medal, even though we could have played for the bronze if we lost this one. Man, oh man, the adversity that this team has come through, I'm not going to put anything past it. Down twice, Sharif, with moments left, just like literally 10 minutes left in each game, and then we decide to capitalize. That's what the best of the best do, and that's why I said you don't want to go in there yelling. You just put it in the hands of your best players and see what can come out. Aside from that, silver, one of our better trades here today. TQ's being the best one, and you know what? Other than that, guys, the market's slowly starting to come back in. Man. So let's see what we got.
All right, so let's get to the news. Flatten out my position. Let's get down to work now. Just allow me a sec to load up my notes. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about, man. It took me a long time to get this done today. And usually, you know, it's kind of light on a Friday, right? Oh, yeah, this is the one that I want. All right, let's get down to work, Joey. All right, NVIDIA Assassino is in talks. Oops. Sorry, I know he doesn't like, This is good? That's good. NVIDIA is in talks. We kind of reported this to you guys yesterday, that there were more discussions about more investments between NVIDIA and OpenAI. Now we got more details on it today. Here's the deal. NVIDIA is reportedly in discussions to invest up to $30 billion in OpenAI as part of a funding round valuing the AI startup at $730 billion, but that is pre-money valuation. The proposed investment is entirely separate from the previously announced $100 billion investment agreement between the two companies, which Jensen said very clearly could be up to $100 billion. He did not commit that $100 billion. This is different. This is a commitment of $30 billion, not of up to $30 billion like the up to 100 was. The $30 billion would not be tied to deployment milestones, unlike the earlier $100 billion that he announced. The deal is not finalized and does remain subject to change. The September agreement, which is the $100 billion that we just spoke about there, outlined NVIDIA investing over several years as OpenAI built new supercomputing facilities. The first $10 billion of that $100 billion, we're not talking about the 30, the first 10 of the 100 would be deployed once a gigawatt scale facility was completed. However, the new $30 billion that we're now talking about is independent of any milestone-based roadmap. So it's not like achieve A, you get B, you know, it's not. It's $30 billion clean. NVIDIA could still participate in additional rounds aligned with the earlier infrastructure plan. That is the $100 billion infrastructure plan. Talks may close in two phases, beginning with strategic investors like Amazon, Microsoft, and NVIDIA, and then a second wave of capital would follow from a wider investor base. Questions, though, Joey, have surfaced about whether the original $100 billion infrastructure agreement was on ice, as per the Wall Street Journal report back in January. Remember, Jensen was pushed about that, and he said, look, you know, I'm still gung-ho, OpenAI, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm not pulling out. And then Altman came back and leaked it the next day that he didn't like NVIDIA's GPUs as much as others, specifically for inference, all right? And it was a tit for tat exchange, both hitting under, you know, kind of releasing things but not saying it overtly. So that is the question right now, Joey. NVIDIA's up a third.
Yeah, I'm going to stand on the same narrative. With each funding round and each investment here heading into OpenAI, I'm really starting to like it less and less, to be honest with you. We talked about the monetization issues going on within Sam Altman and company. He's got a lot of people working with him right now, and they're going to want some form of return on investment. So we're going to have to see a lot from this company. And Sharif, I like the tiers that you're talking about with this kind of like LLMs, and then you lead into the agentic AI and everything along the lines. I think Sam Altman's going to really need to step out of that narrative. So I'm not liking this with each funding round and each additional investment. So these guys are going to essentially own nothing of their company at the end of the day.
All right, Assassino, we're going back up to Sia.
So we're talking about Tesla. Tesla is cutting Cybertruck prices amid the EV demand slump, and Tesla unveiled a cheaper dual motor, which is all-wheel drive Cybertruck, which is priced at $59,990, which is now the most affordable configuration, by the way. The Cyber Beast price was reduced from $99,990. It was reduced from $114,990 to $99,990, which is a 13% cut.
Yeah, this is not good. Number one, because price cuts mean one thing and one thing only, which is a lack of demand. And I don't think we needed the price cut here on Tesla to know, or on the Cybertruck to know that there wasn't demand. I mean, anybody who goes to the dealerships can see these things accumulating. It's a 13% drop in price when the margins for Tesla are in the mid-teens to begin with. So one had to have assumed already that the Cyber Beast, which is taking the biggest price cut here, probably had larger margins, right? Maybe in the 20s, maybe in the 30s. So a 13% cut still make it profitable, but definitely you're going to be getting lower profitability no matter what, no matter how you split this, how you square that circle. So also, they're canceling the Lux package, which makes sense to me. The Lux package included FSD, and it included supercharging for free. It makes sense that they would cut that now because specifically he switched FSD into a SaaS model as opposed to a pay at point of sale model. So it's $100 a month from my understanding. Whereas, you could have paid $11,000 or whatever it was for before. So it makes sense that he cancels that. The only issue that I have, Joey, let's do it here. Tesla. Let's go Tesla, Canada. Let's do this, Joey.
When was,
Here we go.
Before we hop into this, when was the official Cybertruck released? Early 25, right? Or
late 24.
Late 24.
Yeah. All right, here we go. He always has to ask me questions. Why don't you just shut up and show me the thing? Look at this.
Bruh.
Yo, get out of here, man. It's just constantly.
Bruh.
Look at that. You see that?
Yeah.
And then, let me show you something else. You see that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take this number and see what it is in Canadian, okay?
130,000.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So are we going to get a price cut here too, but he's just announcing it in the States first?
Probably not.
Oh, or USD to CAD.
1,000.
136, 137,000. So that is quite frustrating there.
There's another 40K on top of that.
Anyway, is President Trump live? All right, President Trump is now live. You guys can see him behind us. So now let the insanity
I want
begin.
to hear what this guy has to say.
Okay, we're gonna let Sia do her thing because she has to listen in to President Trump. We'll just do. You're going to show with the audio like that, Assassino? Okay, fantastic. So President Trump, top right of your corner. There are closed captions there, by the way, guys. So if you guys want to read and watch the show at the same time, right there for you guys. So I'm not trying to buy a Cybertruck right now, Martell Profit. I was looking at it. I'm not interested in buying a car in the next couple of years. I'm looking at buying a house first. So once we get the house taken care of, we'll talk about the car. But I was before I sold my car in August. Talk about AWS.
Dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them.
Are you going to play the audio like that?
Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy.
I'm so
And they're
confused.
dancing in the streets, but they
Okay.
won't be dancing for long. That I can assure you.
Turn it up a little.
The Democrats on
tried.
the
Assassino,
court
can you put it up a little bit, brother?
are
Thank you.
thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no
Are we commenting or are we just
against
listening?
anything that
Yeah,
makes
okay.
America strong, healthy,
I just don't think
and
that
great
that's going to
again.
work.
also are a,
Yeah.
frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no.
Yeah. Sure.
But you can't knock their loyalty.
Cues. Show the cues. Put the cues on.
It's one thing you can do with some of
Yeah.
our
You can put a screen. That's the cues.
Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court. And it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular. When in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it. We still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security. And also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said, you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the Peace Board, he said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country-destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little 2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that. It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives that have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries, but a much more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that? Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago under an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%, but now I'll go the way I could have gone originally, which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so up, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might
All right,
not
so that is President Trump, guys. If you guys want to continue listening, you can kind of get your own stream there. If we can mute that, guys. Thank you, so that we can actually listen. All right, so that is President Trump making it very clear he's going to come at this a different way. We'll have to wait on details to see exactly what he means by that, which statutes he's going to use, and what legal analysts obviously have to say about the usage of that statute, Joseph. So we'll obviously keep you guys apprised of that when we have that information. See ya.
Yeah, so here are some quick updates about what happened and what U.S. President Donald Trump was speaking about. He said, Supreme Court ruling is deeply disappointing. I'm ashamed of certain members of the court. Foreign countries are ripping us off and are ecstatic. Foreign countries are dancing in the streets, but not for long. Countries won't be dancing for long. Here's some other more important information. The tariff case was a symbol of economic national security. It's good news that there are methods stronger than the IEPA. Tariffs have been used to end the 5 of the 8 wars. I have ended the 8 wars between India and Pakistan. It was a nuclear war. Fentanyl tariffs will remain. I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country's embargo. I can do anything, but I cannot impose tariffs. I'm allowed to cut off all trade with a country. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I cannot impose tariffs and charge them. If there are any more updates, obviously I will be filling in with them.
Thank you very much, Sia, for that. Just give me a sec. Can you take over for a second?
Yeah,
please?
absolutely. Josh said something in the chat here. Costello said, hey man, why did cybersecurity stocks tank? And they did. There's CrowdStrike to the downside, guys. And you can see the volume really start to step in on the V by time here. Essentially starting to find somewhat of a recovery, but CrowdStrike right back to the downside. And you can see, I thought we were going to see a little bit more of a recovery here. We project that 431 level, and then sure enough, a big slow curl over right there in CrowdStrike. We can go through a couple of the other names here. Zscaler up to, same thing. I love this platform, so. Hold on, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, we'll take a look at Zscaler as well, too, and see what we got going on. There, we'll hit it over here. Same narrative, guys, to the downside in Zscaler, right towards some key support levels. This isn't going to be a good look whatsoever. I mean, we're down substantially off of those previous all-time highs, so tough look, 51% on Zscaler. And W. Why? You got to do that same thing here, guys. Taking a little bit of a slide, but holding up better than CrowdStrike. So that's cybersecurity. And then we have the ETF as well that we can take a look at here, guys. We'll pull that up momentarily and see if we have any form of a better look. And if we're holding up a little bit better, I'm going to take a look at all the holdings on this ETF here. I got to find it first on the watch list. Going on, I gotta organize this a little bit better. I'm not gonna scroll through things too much, but yeah, way to point that out. We like that narrative. Well, we don't like it, but yeah, good look, and I think you can base some trades off it. I think the overall market is gonna continue to slide. This is a nice rebound, even though we are rebounding right now. Watch out for this specific level at 190 here on NVDA. See what do you have?
Yeah, some more updates here. Just citing U.S. President Donald Trump directly here. I will go on a stronger direction now. He has cited the 1974 Trade Expansion Act and said, Supreme Court made my ability to impose tariffs more powerful. Income coming in from tariffs will increase.
Again, we talked about, you know, the lack of the remedy in the judgment of the Supreme Court. Basically, well, purposely silent about how that's going to end up going. So it will go back to the court of first instance. I think it's a trade. The name of the court eludes me at the moment, but it's a specialized court in New York for trade, and they're the ones that are going to be judging, they're going to render judgment on how that should be paid back, if it should be paid back, the methodology, the time period, and all that stuff there. Sorry, guys, I'm just focusing here on ABTS because I'm in a trade. I'm looking for this one to break above prior bar high. It's really kind of coiled up. There it goes. It just took out a whole ton of orders. There we go. Now we're printing on it and printing on it quite aggressively. And I did add into this position very aggressively. So let's go ahead and take some out here into the 80s. Looking for more. We have 66s on. Looking for a little bit better here. Looking, there's a seller into the 80s. It hasn't taken out all my orders quite yet. So looking for that move into 509. It is a 509 high. I'd like to see this take out 5 first and foremost before we get really too excited here. But ABTS back on the move. See ya.
Yeah, remarks are almost ending here, but I have a quick last-minute update. U.S. President Donald Trump also said, effective now, all national security tariffs under Section 301 will remain in place. 10% global tariff will be imposed on top of other tariffs.
Boy, all right. So keep bringing those updates in. Those are important. obviously, because we are looking for exactly what the details of his next step will be. But President Trump is speaking right now, as you can see in the top right of your screen there, Joey. Just, I need you to take over for a second to throw in some orders.
So we did see a little bit of a volatility spike in the overall market, guys. We slid down, pounced right off of the volume-weighted average price, and now we're kind of just stuck in limbo, trading within VWAP on the intraday session, guys. We only got a couple hours left, 2 hours and 20 minutes to be exact, 24 minutes to be exact. So keep that in mind. If there's going to be some more volatility, and we're going to pay attention to what Donald has to say, C is bringing us the updates as well. So if that's going to add anything into today's volatile market, sure enough, we will be able to take advantage of a couple of moves. Silver hovering right back towards the high of the day of 74.92, putting in a 6% session. You can see that the SPY is now positive after starting negative in the pre-market. You're up 0.5%, and then a big-time move. SLB.
Okay, I got to interrupt. New high on ABTS. There's the breakout. There it goes into 550. We got 64s on. There's the move, man. Yeah, let's go. Now we're almost going to be positive on the day. Bro, I was down almost my entire shutdown, and I'm flat. There we go. Good, good.
There you go.
All right, let's get back down to work. What do we got?
What do we got here? Amazon.
Hold on, I'm just loading up my screen. I don't know where the hell it went. Sorry, Joey, just have to find it. There it is. Good. All right, let's talk about Amazon. So Amazon's web services stated that a December 2025 outage was caused by user error, not malfunction. AWS rejected the report that was released by the Financial Times that the disruption was actually stemming from an AI tool. They said, no, the disruption stemmed from a misconfigured access control, not autonomous AI behavior. This was kind of the rumor being floated around by the Financial Times that AI had kind of run wild and taken over certain parts of AWS. They want to basically put the kibosh on that rumor. If you believe them, you believe them. You don't, it's up to you. The brief interruption impacted AWS's Cost Explorer in 1 or 2 mainland China regions. The event did not affect compute, according to the company, storage or databases or other core non-AI services. AWS described the impact of the outage as limited and contained to a single service. The Financial Times, in case you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, had previously reported engineers allowed the Kiro AI coding tool to make certain changes, which resulted in that 13-hour interruption. The agentic tool allegedly, according to the Financial Times, deleted and recreated an environment causing that service disruption. AWS maintains the root cause was user misconfiguration, not autonomous AI decision-making. Kiro, which is that AI tool, the coding tool we just spoke about, now requires authorization before taking any actions by default, which makes me wonder, I mean, why would you change around how Kiro works if Kiro wasn't the problem? So a little, you know, I don't want to say misinformation, but lack of information, Joey.
That was when we couldn't get into anything, right, with the cloud.
Remember that?
The cloud.
No, it's AWS. This wasn't China specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was China specifically?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, mainland China region.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. So interesting stuff there. I mean, saying it's not AI related, but then you kind of just adjust how it now needs constant, or that second, what's the word I'm looking for?
What are you looking for?
I don't know. We're going to move on a little bit here. But anyways, aside from that, confirmation, essentially, it's interesting because we don't see too many outages from these big boys, aside from what we experienced there in Cloud4, where we couldn't use anything. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about AWS, and I still like it, obviously.
Man, commodity cake. I should have used that. I do use it at times. What?
What's that?
The word sus.
Suspect?
Yeah, that's all that means. That's all I know it to mean. Moving on. Open Door. Where's Open Door at? It was up nice. Giving back a little bit here. It's still up 52 2/3%, but it's off the day's highs by almost $1. They reported, guys, Q4 revenue yesterday in the aftermarket. They reported revenue of $736 million, which is insanely higher than the 594, not insanely, but a lot higher than the 594 million analysts were looking for, with EPS coming in positively, ironically enough, 7 pennies per share positive EPS. The street was looking for about 10-penny loss. How'd the street get it so wrong, right? Big miss there on the top line number. Complete wild expectations of a loss. They swung a profit, if you believe the report, of course. The company purchased 1,706 homes in Q4, which is up 46% sequentially. And the inventory velocity apparently improved, with homes sitting on the market for more than 120 days, dropping from 51% of their inventory down to 33%. We've got more Trump updates with Sia.
Yeah, still speaking, he says, I don't need to ask Congress for tariffs. Canada ripped us off 30% of our market and taken our cars, everything. Taiwan came in, they stole our chip businesses. INTC, I saved Intel. I literally saved Intel. And he also has threatened to 15 to 30% of tariffs on auto.
Thank you very much, Sia. Danny, boy, I love this. I hate to be a no good dirty rat, but I just sent Trump a clip of Sharif dancing to Trump. Man, yeah, get him, Donald. All right, well, he's definitely not dancing right now, but I appreciate the $5 super chat there, brother. Thank you very much for that. Kaz Najati and the CEO of Open Door credited the improvement to operational discipline, including more accurate pricing and faster inventory returns, as we just talked about there. Houses sitting on the market for more than 120 days dropped from 51% the year prior, now to 33%. So a marked improvement there. And you got to say that they made that improvement without a real recovery from the real estate market. My understanding is the real estate market is still a little soft in the United States. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure it's regional, of course, but certainly the market is not strong here. Management also highlighted that its October 2025 acquisition of Cohort is actually tracking to become its most profitable vintage yet. I don't know what vintage means, but Open Door also expects about a 10% revenue decline in fiscal 26. I didn't really understand that. And the short interest here has declined about, not that much, has declined from 119.12 million shares down to 118.17, so about 1 million shares less, but that still represents about 13.83% of the float and about 2.5 days to cover, Joey.
Take a look at Open Door here. A couple of interesting facts. Obviously, inventories coming off the market a little bit sooner, increasing 33% from 51% in Q3 of 25. Found that interesting. Unrestricted cash flow stood at 962 million, and net inventory around 925 million, so 2,800 homes there. Let's take a look at Open Door. I mean, those numbers aren't absolutely horrible. I just don't understand. I don't see this stock recovering anytime soon, especially if there's still that kind of uncertainty within it.
You're not part of the Open Army, Joey?
No, I was never a part of that Open Army. I still believe that this is somewhat of a meme stock, in my opinion. But what do I know? At the end of the day, you can see that this downtrend is still steadily intact. $4.94 from a high of around $10. It's a 60% haircut right now, and you're already breaking through some key support levels. You break out from that 55-cent mark, and then you climb that high. Sure enough, you're going to see somewhat of a pullback. But, I mean, full-year outlook, obviously 6,000 homes purchased in Q4. They're looking at 5 to 7% contribution margins, financing costs, so OPEX at 3 to 4% of revenue to hit break-even, adjusting net income. So a lot going on here with this name. Interesting stuff. I just think it's a tough space to be in right now, the real estate sector.
Okay, let's go on to the next topic. Live Nation beats on revenue as the antitrust trial looms. They reported Q4 revenue of $6.13 billion. 3.1 billion, up 11% year over year and ahead of the 6.1 expected by analysts, with concert revenue rising 12% year over year. 5.15 billion driven by strong demand. Ticket sales only increased, though, 1%. Sponsorship and advertising rose 17%. And full-year attendance now has reached 159 million fans. That's up 5% from the year prior, meaning 2024. Q4 net income, about $548 million. That translates into about $2.74 a share versus the loss of 33 cents a share from the year prior. Prior year profit included accretion of redeemable non-controlling interest. Analysts had expected a 33% or 33 cent per share EPS. They ended up taking 2.74. Management is guiding towards a record-breaking 2026, and what they're citing is deep global tour pipelines. Shout out to Tame Impala. Live Nation faces a federal antitrust lawsuit, though, and starting March 2nd in Manhattan. The Justice Department is seeking to break up the company by separating Ticketmaster from Live Nation. Nearly 40 states have joined the Justice Department in the lawsuit with additional damages claimed. The merger was originally approved in 2010 under President Obama, but is now under renewed scrutiny. Allegations and defenses: the DOJ is alleging that Live Nation illegally ties amphitheaters, promotions, and ticket services. Prosecutors are claiming the company dominates tours, venues, and ticketing. Live Nation denies that, though. They say monopolistic behavior. They deny any monopolistic behavior, and they argue a breakup would be implausible and improper. A judge ruled most of the Department of Justice case can proceed to trial. Joey, this might be a tough look for them.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the segments as well, too. Concerts equaling about 83% of revenue, ticketing 12% there at $3.1 billion, and then sponsorship and advertising coming in at 5%. But double-digit 2026 guidance, double-digit AOI growth. Interesting, with double-digit concerts and sponsorship expansion offset by mid-single-digit ticket growth. I mean, that's not horrible whatsoever. We'll take a look at the technicals on this name as well, too. Obie. And see what we got going on. Oh, okay, so that's not horrible from a technical standpoint. Is that anywhere near the all-time highs? Yeah, it might be. So, I mean, you're only a couple percentage points off at this point. So there is some names, and we go into the Applied Materials, the John Deere's, and it looks like Live Nation, so the discretionary aspect of things, still alive and well here, Sharif, only 7% off of the highs.
Let's go on to the next topic. Grail, not a name that a lot of people know, but it plunged over 50% today. A bit of a tough look there. We'll talk more about that when we get back from Sia.
Yeah, there's more updates flowing in here. Direct quotes: we've lost 50% of our car business. Mexico came, Canada came, and Japan. They're all coming back. Foreign interests have undue influence over the Supreme Court. We are being ripped off by almost every country in every angle in the world. The U.S. will get much stronger after the decision. Trump was also asked if the U.S. has to refund tariff revenue, but his response was, I guess it has to be litigated for 2 years. Trump has also said, now we have certainty because this ruling is out, and he highlighted a 20% tariff on China for fentanyl.
All right, thank you very much. Grail. So the ticker for this one is GRAL, for anybody who wonders. It's down 49.7%. And it basically lost half its market cap in one day. The market cap it's a little bit below $2 billion. So Grail's Gallery multi-cancer screening test failed to achieve its endpoint in a large UK NHS, National Health Service trial of over 142,000 participants. They were aged 50 to 77. The study did not show a statistically significant reduction in late stage, which is stage 3 and 4 cancers, which was the key objective of the study. The shares, as I mentioned, plunged roughly 50% in after-hours trading, despite being up more than 200% in the past 6 months prior to the drop. So a big correction there. Grail reported what they're calling a favorable trend towards fewer late-stage cancers amongst a subset of 12 deadly cancers. There is also an increase in the diagnosis of early-stage cancers that are typically detected late. However, the findings, sadly for them, were not sufficient enough to meet the trial's predefined statistical bar. Joey, This is not a good look for a company to lose half its value in one day.
No, not whatsoever. And some of these biotech names are definitely more difficult to get involved with. I don't know if this is all the data that I can get, but hey, that's not bad whatsoever. You had a substantial move, 706%. But as Sharif mentioned, you dropped substantially, 58% in the span of a week or so. Losing all that value is not fun. But if you've been involved early, then yeah, I don't know, maybe you might want to take a little bit of cash, lock in some profits, and get out of there.
Well said, Joey. Let's talk about Blue Owl. So everybody's been talking what the hell is going on with private credit, what the hell is going on with private equity. Blue Owl Capital, ticker OWL, OWL, shares fell nearly 6% after the firm permanently restricted withdrawals from one of its retail-focused private credit funds. The company sold about $1.4 billion of loan assets across 3 private debt funds. The largest impact came from Blue Owl Capital Corporation 2, a semi-liquid fund marketed to U.S. retail investors. The fund will stop offering quarterly redemptions, reigniting fears, of course, about the liquidity mismatches in the private credit vehicles. So what's this canary in the coal mine debate that everybody's been having? Well, critics are arguing the move signals deeper stress in the private markets. And we've been seeing some froth as well, especially with OpenAI and some of the valuations there. Verdad Capital's Dan Rasmussen called it a potential sign that the private market bubble may be deflating. Years of ultra low rates encouraged investors to chase higher yields by lending to riskier and leveraged companies. Analysts here, though, they're warning some of these high yields may represent what they're calling fool's yield, like fool's gold, if defaults rise. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to see you.
Some more updates, specifically on the 10% tariff. We will impose 10% global tariffs for a period of about 5 months. He said that the global tariffs would apply for about 5 months and indicate a straight 10% across-the-board tariff in trade deals.
It has ballooned, guys, to about a $3 trillion global market. All that private credit, not even private equity, just private credit. Publicly traded business development companies play a major role in lending to small and mid-sized firms, and retail investors, they're now supply a growing share of that BDC capital, business development companies, with institutional ownership falling to 25% by a couple of years ago. So there are some issues here, Joey, when it comes to the private markets. It's not the first time we've been hearing about stress in the private markets, and this is kind of a manifestation of that.
Yeah, that stress is most definitely being displayed here. If you look at the technicals on this name, you're down 60%, and there's no sign of recovery anytime soon. Downtrend is still fully intact here, guys, so keep that in mind. I mean, private lending seems to be on the downside right now, and no signs of turning around anytime soon. You're back towards some 2023 levels.
All right, Akami, guys, AKAM, sorry, is the ticker. Again, a lot of these companies we won't talk about, but they're making moves. This one's down almost 12%. Q4 cloud infrastructure services revenue came in at $94 million. That was a healthy move year over year, 45% bump, signaling early traction from that neocloud AI demand we've been talking a lot about. But management said customers are increasingly deploying AI applications and agents across enterprise workflows, which is boosting their infrastructure usage. They signed a 4-year, $200 million cloud infrastructure commitment with major U.S. tech companies. Revenue from that contract is expected to flow in Q4 of this year, which creates that longer-term visibility. They plan to invest about $250 million in Capex this year to expand its AI inference cloud footprint. Management did cite significant inflationary pressure in the computer hardware markets. We've been hearing that a lot, whether you're talking from Apple, SMCI. RAM prices seem to be hurting a lot of the margins. Memory chip pricing, again, surged, driving higher server costs across the sector. As a result, they raised their 2026 Capex forecast by roughly $200 million. So if they were going to spend $250, then they were guiding likely $50. And we've seen companies really be, made to pay for that excessive Capex, whether it's Amazon, Meta, well off the high as a result of aggressive Capex there, Joey. But AKAM, not even a name I knew was in the cloud game, but Clearly they are.
Yeah, clearly. And I guess from those April lows, you have 40%. I'm not too familiar with this name either, but there's so many. Is this in the Nasdaq or the S&P?
KAM?
Yeah,
Nasdaq.
Nasdaq.
Yeah.
So there it is, guys. A name you didn't really talk about too often, but getting involved with the cloud infrastructure and this build out. I would think you'd see a little bit more of a reaction here if that was going to be the case.
Celsius Holdings had an interesting, were involved with an interesting conference yesterday called the CAGNY conference. If gains hold, let's see where Celsius is at right now. It's up 9% and change. So yeah, basically where it was in the pre-market. If shares hold, this would mark the stock's second straight positive session and potentially its best day since August of last year. Shares were down about 4% year to date, but they remain up 74% in 25, really fueled by that Alani Nu acquisition and growing demand for better for you energy drinks. I don't know what the hell that is, but apparently there's a difference between natural caffeine and synthetic caffeine. I didn't even know there was a difference. CEO John Fieldly, he highlighted 25% growth in shelf space at major supermarkets, as well as increased cooler placements and a 6% velocity growth in retail. Not a bad look. Expanded assortment strategy seems to be paying off as well. They've been really focusing on single serve, multi-packs, as well as coolers, in driving that strong retail performance and deeper category penetration. Energy drinks now, Joey, they represent about 20% of the liquid refreshments beverage sales, which is about 14% from 5 years ago. And I'm assuming these are probably younger drinkers who are all about that energy drink life.
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of energy drinks or anything along those lines. But aside from that, like what I found interesting here, Sharif, is that a lot of this revenue growth has been surged by PepsiCo's distribution. I find absolutely interesting. So that's a good partnership that you want to have. North America obviously holding the most here, guys. Drove bulk of the growth via PepsiCo expansion and 20%, as Sharif just mentioned not too long ago. But internationally, I mean, up 27% in Ireland, and then you're up a little bit more here in Australia, France, and New Zealand, which I find interesting as well. But year to date, you're up 30% internationally. So expansion is good, and the beverage game isn't an easy one, that's for sure.
Scathing report from NASA about Boeing and the failures of that launch into the International Space Station last year, where it was supposed to be an 8-day trip, ended up being 6 months. Saved, of course, by your boy Elon Musk and SpaceX. So NASA leaders said the agency disregarded crew safety concerns during that 2024 Starliner mission. An internal investigation identified technical problems as well as poor communication and bad management failures before and during the flight. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman characterized the mission as a Type A mishap, the most severe classification he could. He also stressed the issue was not hardware alone, but decision-making as well as leadership, warning of cultural risks in human spaceflight. We'll get more on this in a second.
Yeah, we have some more updates right over here. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer said that the program will continue without disruption and that Section 301 probes are legally robust and durable. He also says that Section 122 tariffs will be implemented and signed today. There was also, President Donald Trump did take a dig at Fed chair. We have a very incompetent Fed chairman who likes high interest rates. He also criticized the Supreme Court IEEPA ruling. The president called the decision nonsensical, saying it prevents charging even $1 under the IEEPA while still allowing a complete ban or an embargo on foreign trade.
Thank you, Katina, man. Did you hear what he said? Yeah, he's talking smack about you again, man. All right, let's go on to the next part over here. So Boeing Starliner launched back in 2024, carrying astronauts Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams for what was meant to be an 8 to 14-day mission. The spacecraft experienced helium leaks and thruster failures shortly after the launch. Although it docked successfully, NASA ultimately opted to return the astronauts via SpaceX months in orbit. Starliner was not flown since and will not carry astronauts on the next test flight. So we've been seeing some improvements from Boeing. Let's just not crap all over them, right? Yep. I mean, this is not their moat airplanes, are.
Nope.
But you shouldn't throw your hat into the ring if you're not ready.
No, yeah, hey man, we've seen that across the board. I mean, investigation. We know who they were involved with the FAA for quite some time. Things weren't going their way. A lot of wonky stuff, but then you got the increase in production there and be able to deliver some more airplanes. As for Boeing, I think the same should be performing substantially better than what it is, but another investigation, not too good of a look. All right, guys, it's now 2 o'clock there, Sharif. We're going to go over a quick trade review. There's NVDL. We'll go over the TQs and then SLV. That was it for the day. Those 3 trades. SLV as well, too. That wasn't too bad as it continuing to climb a little bit higher. And watch out for NVDA closing above that 190 mark. We talked about that throughout the session there, guys.
No, it's rare that I celebrate being up 7 pennies on the day, but hey, I was decidedly red, and now we're flat, and more happy I could not be.
There you go.
Hopefully we'll do a little bit better next time, guys. For Joseph and I.
Hey, man, would you rather be up 7 cents or down almost a shutdown?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Of course, so, that kind of goes without saying.
Right? So it's just a scratch day, really.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. For Joseph and I, guys, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and market's going to be all over the place. Make sure you're listening to President Trump and what he has to say, and think about, of course, the next steps for your investment journey. The big boys, through that way.